Weekly jobless claims data to come through here for last week. We are still seeing a little bit of a move in the overall market. Just got the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index out there a little bit early. This chart not updating yet, but I'll bring that to you when it does come through. We're also expecting some GDP numbers to come through as well this morning. So this website, anyway, is a little bit delayed. I'll bring that to you when it does populate this morning. Q1 advanced GDP reading, the forecast was 2.8% there. To the upside. Last time we got 3.4%. Initial jobless claims, no data there yet as well. So we'll try and refresh that and we'll continue on. Coming off what was another pretty ugly day for the overall market. Back to the upside a little bit here, 0.3 for the NASDAQ this morning. We are moving higher right now, but not a lot of volume behind this move yet. So big sell-off yesterday. A lot of that coming on the back of weakness from semiconductors, looking like we might get some follow through this morning from semiconductors as well. TSMC coming out with results today. We'll touch on that coming up as well. Google and Meta with an interesting headline we'll touch on as well. Micron picking up a $6 billion grant, looking pretty good for MU so far. Maybe a bounce in crypto to start things off this morning. There was a positive note on Coinbase I saw, a little bit higher than the rest of the equities related to crypto, but coin up on that PT hike.
Yeah, interesting look here for coin, Brendo. We were looking at this one yesterday. Bernstein giving coin the nod here with price target of $200 and a market perform. So now it outperformed, which is good look here for Coinbase. We'll have to see how they do. Bitcoin trying to hold on 60,000, 61,875 right now.
I still have no data, so
I have the jobless claim.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, here it is, guys. So looks like we're a little bit lower than expected, 212,000 versus the 215,000 expected. The prior print, Brendo, is 212 last month. Yeah. That comes to us vis-a-vis Benzinga.
Yeah, I see that on Benzinga here. Philly Fed index there, 15.5 versus 1.5. Continuing claims, 1.8 million versus 1.8 million. So kind of in line with expectations. That advanced GDP reading a little bit delayed there. We'll get that to you when we see it. But interesting spot here, guys. As we said, pretty weak into the close yesterday. I mean, all day long. But downside to start things off here anyways right now.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a... welcome, everybody. That wasn't that big of a move to that number. But I think we're at the point where was anything that happened on jobless claims going to change the trajectory of the Fed? Not when you...
Yeah, 3,000.
You had a few banks pushing out rate cuts, some till next year, they're saying. I saw it was at least one bank was like, maybe not till March. I'm like, oh yeah, really? All the same people that thought we were going to cut... No, but like all the same people that thought we were going to cut 6 times... Well, what is this, April? Well, so like 5 months ago. Ridiculous. And now they're like, there's going to be none until March of next year. It's like, okay. When it happens, it happens.
Why are they even... We were so excited. Oh my God, they're bringing back the dot plot. You know, we plotted this out.
But it looks pretty.
I thought we had the plot of the dots, and then
that should be a movie.
And then all of a sudden, you know, that should be the name of our podcast. Something like, yeah, something like, I don't know, pod dot plot, polka dot. Oh yeah, we had that plot. Anyways, all right. I don't know. I'm still pretty negative on the market here, honestly. I'm setting up the sticky note. I've got a couple short ideas on here. And you know, does this look like we want to go long? This is the NASDAQ over the 30-minute chart going back a month. So, I mean, it's not looking real nice here. You're still not above 18,000. You're actually not even close to 18,000. You're at 17.7 right now. I mean, I want to get excited on a short if we can get up here, but it's looking like we're going to break even lower. So, you know, I don't have any longs written down here. Our friend, and if you're long, it's not very much of a friend of yours, but Tesla's right near 150 right now. Again, we filmed the podcast yesterday, but this was a you know, topic of discussion, obviously, as we start to break lower. And what Brendan and I, you know, and what we've all been discussing is that if you bought Tesla in here at 160, 170, like a lot of people did. Oopsies, that's right, our charts do that. You thought you had some support back here, you know, but now once you're gonna lose, and can I zoom this over? Once you lose this 150 right here, that goes back to April of 23, I mean, then it's, you know, it actually doesn't really have a base until like 115, 110. So yeah, I mean, ahead of earnings, this could get like,
could.
I mean, what if that number comes way lower?
Oh my goodness.
You know, and then a bad guy, like, actually the number is probably going to come as expected. It's what about the guide? Because they've cut jobs now, apparently taken negatively. As we know, some companies, that's a, you know, been a positive story.
Not that.
But of course, with the EV space declining so rapidly, Rivian's down near that $8 mark. They just cut yesterday. I mean, if they guide lower, Tesla, can robo-taxi save the day here?
In the long term, yeah, but in the short term, it's trending down. Like you actually have this morning where at one point, and we'll double check some of the chip names, but pretty much every chip name was up because TSM had a good quarter, except TSM. So like chips got smoked after ASML's miss. TSM hits. And TSM is actually going to be down. So A, that's weird. B, I'm not sure the chips are out of the water either. So I love them all too, but I feel like there's some shorts to be had. I actually looked at a long. I suppose we might get to that.
There's going to be lots of longs.
Because
the market's up.
I was going back and looking at the turn in the market, and one of them stood out. Now I didn't see this in the wild, as Sharif and Adara say. Like I wasn't watching Amazon when it got to $180 yesterday. I was watching Bitcoin, was watching chip names at the time, but the dip on Amazon to 180 was one of the better, just clean turnarounds. It was a massive volume candle, biggest volume candle outside of the open. Actually, it was bigger than the open. It wiped out the 180 level, wicked on 20 cents underneath, and there's your recovery. Like that's exactly, when you're looking for a reversal trade that isn't guessing the bottom, generally speaking, that's what it looks like. Massive volume, huge level, immediate bounce, goes all the way to VWAP. So when a level like that hits, it gets down there again. I'm like, oh, if they defended it once, that's pretty defensible, but no catalyst really for Amazon. And it's not even at the 50 period Amazon. But that's not even that far. The high is 190. It's down 5% from the top. It's not even that much.
The stock market is just
stronger than the bullpen of the Jays
like,
tonight.
It's just one of those things.
Oh, you know what I suck at?
You're so happy when the market's going up, and then you look back, and it's like, okay, you know.
We didn't
like
get
all
70
these nice
goals.
buys that we thought we had, and then Matthews didn't get 70 goals. It was raining last night. Gas prices are up.
Well, here.
17 cents per liter.
The summer, what is it? What they call
The summer strain is
Summer
in there.
something.
The summer mix. We were out last night, though. Good time at Hockey Hall of Fame. We had a good time here with a few people. It was really nice. Couple drinks. It was fun times. Seeing some old Maple Leafs and whatnot. Nick Antropov was there. Do you remember that?
Of course I remember Nick Antropov.
Yeah, Shane Corson was there.
I bet you Aki Berg wasn't there.
I don't think so. Are you feeling under the weather, says Alex K?
So look, yesterday, actually, I was gonna save it for a little bit later, but yesterday was a huge day in
I
my
had like
family.
4 or 5 cocktails.
So like I actually had to run for the train, but I did catch it. I had to catch the first train home yesterday because my wife is doing a cybersecurity course, which she just graduated from. So the graduation event ceremony was at like 5:30, and I get off my train at 5:20, and so I went straight from the train right to the ceremony, like walked in, hugged her, we listened to the speeches. My daughter was there, it was fantastic. I'll grab a picture in a second. But then my daughter had gymnastics. So the second they were done their speeches, I grabbed my daughter, to the bathroom, got her changed. We drove right up to her gymnastics, got her to gymnastics. I got home at about 8:30 and had to still eat dinner, which I realized I just had to order, man. Like
what did you get?
Man, I just got McDonald's.
Yes.
I just needed food.
McDonald's.
And I needed to get to sleep.
Oh my God.
And it's not the best thing. I usually don't eat after 7 o'clock. So my body's accustomed to that. So McDonald's at 8:40 and then trying to go to sleep was a huge problem.
Are you a?
I slept like crap last night. However, I have it somewhere.
Are you a Big Mac guy or a quarter pounder guy?
I'm a Big Mac, 100%.
Yeah, okay, good.
110% I'm a Big Mac guy, but I also love the bacon and egg BLT.
Sometimes
With no mayonnaise.
Did they bring that back?
They have a sausage and it's like the sausage and egg,
Yeah.
which I used to love. Now I'm about the bacon and egg.
Bacon and
hold
egg.
the mayo. It's like a BLT with tomato.
Okay, so just
lettuce,
the egg
tomato.
McMuffin, but bacon.
Yeah, bacon and egg. But like,
But they have tomato?
yeah,
Tea?
with tomato.
Oh.
But you've got to make sure that you
I have to
don't
go check
put
that out.
There's so much mayonnaise on it. Like the regular amount of mayonnaise on this thing, it's like, first of all, I don't like mayonnaise. It's disgusting. But I did want to show off. This is my wife and daughter at this. And shout out to Rogers who sponsored this, and MasterCard who sponsors this program. It's actually for women to learn cybersecurity. So like her class was a mix of, you had some mid-level executives, you had private sector and everything. So now she's educating me on cybersecurity. Like when the UNH thing happens, she's like, oh, did you hear about the UNH breach? I'm like, how the hell did you know about that? That just happened today. Because usually she has no idea what goes on the market, but that's my lovely wife, Rebecca, and that is Erin, who is, I mean, she's dressed for gymnastics underneath, because that's how we had to roll. And she was so good listening to a bunch of speeches about stuff that she didn't understand, just being cute for mommy, which is fantastic. And yeah, that's why we do everything. I mean, you talk about it all the time. And we've known each other a while. Like, you have happy wife, happy life, live for your family, all that kind of good stuff. But busy's good. Like, if we come, sometimes we'll come and it's like bags under the eyes, but most of it's good busy. Like, bad busy is when you have to pull, when you have bags in your eyes because you're pulling all-nighters in school. Like, that life, I hated that stuff.
There's no way I go back to school, man. There ain't no damn way of that.
I hated that, man. There was one time I had to like take medication. I had a test or something the next day. I was feeling under the weather. So I'm taking a bunch of like cold medication to try and study the night. And then I had trouble, drowsy-ish. Yeah, I couldn't wake up the next morning. I'm like trying to take this test.
Doesn't like Neocitrin wipe you out? Like just the basics?
Okay, that's a little,
Is that?
So anyways, I have a strong reaction to like weak things like Neocitrin.
Right.
So if I take that stuff, like it affects me big time. Like if I take Advil,
the market might start to go down here.
Anyways, that's a lot of going off topic.
Yeah.
What are we were just talking about.
We've got baseball, hockey, and chess tonight.
Oh, chess.
And there's only 2 of us, so we are trying to find someone to take my guy to chess. Okay, Sharif, when's the last time you had McDonald's? All right, back over to the desk.
He doesn't eat McDonald's.
We're going to get to Rahim Alani just walking in the building here. We'll touch on some gold action this morning and a little bit of cannabis coming up here in a few minutes. But I just saw this moving around, and I mean, it's notable, but not a huge move yet. Dollar reversing some early weakness here. We were downside initially this morning, but some of this data that came out at 8:30 has this thing back above the lows from yesterday. Yields kind of holding into the bottom end of the range from yesterday. Again, they started higher on the day and faded off throughout the session yesterday. So we'll keep an eye on interest rates. Let's just do a quick recap here. We finally got some numbers to show you. 212 versus 212 I see on this one. So basically in line with initial jobless claims, continuing claims 1.8 versus 1.8. So hence the lack of excitement in the overall market there at 8:30. Just be aware, 9 o'clock, Bowman scheduled to speak, Feds Williams as well going to speak, Bostic later on at 11 o'clock. So another day with more Fed speak to look forward to.
Oh, I can't wait to hear higher for longer, and we're data dependent, and well, the last few prints obviously haven't been that good. Jerome Powell holding a conference a couple of days ago with Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem. He made a lot of hawkish statements during that time. I guess, you know, he's really responding to the data that's coming out. So not a good look here, Brendo, and we still are below 17.7 right now.
I still don't really know what to make of that. I mean, just randomly, Tiff Macklem shows up in Washington and has a conversation with Fed Chair Powell. I mean, it was mostly about what was happening in the U.S. and Fed Chair Powell's comments. Our economy, obviously, very, very different.
But when you look at the interest rate history, Brendo, the way that the Fed moves and the Bank of Canada moves, almost in tandem.
Yeah.
Almost in tandem.
Yeah. Just real quick, Bitcoin back to the upside here this morning as well, as we said. Some of the equities, though, not really playing along at this point, being pressured by the overall market. Sean was mentioning, we were discussing on the podcast. Make sure you check that out on the weekend. Big time levels here coming back into play for BTC once again, guys.
All right, it's Bitcoin time. Mr. Rahim Alani is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Ambassador.
Things are about to get real around here.
The professor, the ambassador. So look, yesterday 60,000.
Get out that seat, Sharif. Rahim is here.
So there was a trade that I'm changing up because we like that reversal trade. I think on Bitcoin when we see it at big levels. So 60,000 last time.
I feel like we nailed that level.
It bounced off the level, but like the play is the reversal off a big level. The way I want to execute it now is utilizing like the 5 different books that we have at Real Trading when we have BTC live. So like all it was is, look, you see it go under 60,000, you're like, okay, well it breaks back above. When do you punch long? And that was the only question. Like, do you punch long the second it's back above 60,000? Do you wait for it to hold a 3-minute candle? There's like a million ways you can make that trade. I think we've all, I mean, if you've taken any kind of reversal trade, like you have your own system. But I found one that worked yesterday twice in a row, and I just want to go back to the well if there's even a chance to do it. And that was simply looking at our BTC book here at Real Trading. And look, this is, oh, you have Sean's chart up there. Yeah, so when it broke, this is IBIT, but when it broke 60,000, these are the two reversals. But the execution strategy got me long here and one time there, was simply looking at BTC, and then I want to make sure I have this up, and then I want you guys to see the level 2. Oh, we're not going to have the data yet, but we have 5 different books for Bitcoin. And all I did is wait for all 5 of them to confirm holding the bid above 60,000. So while it's battling 60,000, you might have like Kraken still going back and forth, like 59.99, whatever, and Binance is higher, and what, like it just, you have a little bit of a mixture between all of them. But once all of the books were bidding back above 60,000, I just picked that as the point. Okay, now the 60 break to the downside is gone, and my execution strategy is going to work. Now, I didn't really hold this. The first long I held to here, but the second long, I didn't get to VWAP. There's an even chance that maybe the level we would test today could be like 64 to the top, as it could be 60 again. So I just want to wait for that key big price level on Bitcoin and then fire away. But if we still feel negative about the market, there's always Coinbase 225. 225-ish, 225-ish, and then again today. Like that's a channel. That's a 205 bottom. That's essentially a 225 top. Unless we're breaking out 64, 65, I think Coinbase there can be had.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about that. I mean, all those levels we agree with each other, because yesterday I feel like we nailed that 60 level. We talked about trying to hold against that. We showed you the 4-hour chart. We went back about a month and a bit, so I'm not going to go over the Bitcoin chart again here, because there it is right there, 62.5. It is actually quite a nice bounce away from that. I'm going to move this back down here. I just relaunched my Chrome tabs. Okay, so just yesterday, I choose IBIT. I mean, the most liquidity, easy to get in and out of, no slippage, same fees, if not, cheaper fees to trading. It's an ETF, so, talk to your broker about that. A lot of ETFs are free for retail trading. Also, just easy to get in and out of. The idea here for me is, if you get up to this $36, that looks to me like a fade. I mean, if this was a stock, like Palantir, I would be like, okay, let's fade that level. And at the same time, 34, like I like these wicks and I like the support that was down here. So for IBIT, we're kind of in the middle now. I'm not sure we want to short crypto, so let's let it settle down. But if it does and we can bounce our head off at 36, then I think that would be a good level. And then down here is that 60, 59.9, 59.5 kind of level for IBIT down at 34. So that's where I want to be a buyer until we break about like maybe even $1, 50 cents, like 50 cents a dollar. I think you got to give it a little bit of room, because remember, like we can get overly pushed, like Neil was just mentioning on some of those exchanges, and then IBIT cracks, and then you get wicked out. So yesterday I made the bottom in this thing when it broke through 35 the first time. So we're not going to let that happen again. So, okay, back over to the desk with Rahim and Brendo.
All right, as mentioned, Rahim Alani is here, Managing Director of OCI Groups here in Toronto, to give us a little detail on all things gold. It's been a wild couple of months here, Rahim, as far as the price for gold is concerned. But we were just talking off camera before we came on here. There's a lot of individual equities that haven't necessarily participated in this rally yet.
And I think it is to come. If you look at your 60-day, your 1 year, your 5 year, whatever you want to look at on the price of gold, it's a phenomenal chart. So just purchasing on that. Now, equities typically trail the price of gold, but this year's trail has been a little bit more significant than in previous years. Normally, it's the lag's a little closer.
Right.
This year, we're seeing the lag a little bit further, and that's probably just related to the fact that people aren't in equities as much as they were the last time gold ran like this. Cash is still a little bit on the sideline, when it does come, it will start going into some of the larger caps, and it'll start to trail a little closer. But it hasn't trailed like it's normally been, and that affects both the large caps where the trail is immediate versus the smaller caps where they are M&A targets for the larger guys. So we're not seeing that correlation as tight as it's been in the past.
There's been a ton of, I mean, this year is huge, obviously, for the price of gold itself. Typically, gold over the past 10 years really hasn't done a heck of a lot. So to be expected, I guess, as far as the adjustment is concerned. But is there a correlation when it comes to the price of gold and earnings, per se, as we head into earnings season with some of these?
Not necessarily, because I think, again, with the producers, you kind of know what they're going to be producing. They typically will give a nice tight range on their guidance as well. It's not going to be, we'll produce between 1 and 4 million ounces. It's generally, we're between 1 and 1.1 million ounces. So you kind of know where that's going to be. The only thing to keep an eye out as we do get into earnings season, and a couple of companies that we'll be talking about today have earnings coming up, is just look at their all-in sustaining costs, because you will just typically get a higher revenue number because of the way price of gold has gone. See if they have pre-sold any of their gold at different rates, and what their all-in sustaining costs are. Those are important things.
We had that bit of a sell-off when it comes to gold itself at all-time highs, essentially, and we've been chopping around ever since then. But let's talk about some individual names here. ABX is the first one on the list here. I mean, very, very common Barrick Gold. There's a commonality in some of these charts that we're going to show here, and this is this recent move down here for some of these.
Yeah, and again, I think it's just the fact that the price of gold has trailed off a bit, and the producers are slightly more tied. Barrick has their their earnings coming out May 7th, so keep an eye on that. They did come out with a preliminary note on what they will be expecting. So 940,000 ounces of gold for the quarter, right in line of where they want to be. It's up a quarter over quarter, so good production numbers for them. They did have slightly higher costs, like I was talking about the all-in sustaining costs. They did have slightly higher costs because of the fact that Nevada, they did some maintenance work there. So they're expecting those costs to come down over quarter over the next 4 quarters this year. And same thing on the copper side, on their copper assets. They had slightly higher costs, and that was because they were drilling on a lower grade segment. So you'll see those things kind of, again, what they're saying is that they will improve as they go.
Everyone, not necessarily for south of the border, but everyone waking up in Canada, or Toronto at least, GTA this morning, to significantly higher fuel costs. And I was reading a story before we came on here at 8:30 talking about how that trickles down through basically everything. I mean, gold miners, use monstrous equipment to get to the fields and then to bring the metals and the ore out of the field. So, as you said, cost definitely an issue. MUX McEwen Mining. Tell us about this one.
McEwen, they actually just announced an acquisition yesterday, so it might be interesting. They acquired a company, TBR is the ticker they picked up there, at about, so you get 0.01 McEwen shares for every TBR share you own. So about 10.2 cents US, so just shy of 14 cents. So the stock is trading at 14 cents on that acquisition. But yeah, they're up 51% year to date, 538 million market cap, trading around $11, trading between 6 and 12 for the year. So a nice chart, again, reflective of the price of gold, and has moved up nicely. 55 million in earnings versus a loss of 81 million year over year, and again, reflected to the price of gold. So that's one that's moved nicely with the price that we've talked about.
Yeah, and their report coming up here as well in a couple of weeks. B2, another one that's very well known here in Toronto.
Yeah, so 4.5 billion market cap, large cap company, trades between 318 and 574 on the year. The reason we thought to talk about this one is this one has not correlated to the price of gold. This one on a year-to-date basis is down just shy of 13%, and you don't typically see that with all the gold mining companies that are actually producing. So that's one that has trailed off, and if you're a believer in B2 and what they're doing in Mali, then you might want to hop back into that one. If you're concerned about what they're doing now, a big concern that they had was a couple of weeks ago, one of their worker buses got attacked, and 3 and I believe 4 people now have died, unfortunately, from that. So that's something that did take the stock down a little bit here.
Yeah, negative headlines. So, all right, let's switch gears here a little bit. Cannabis on everyone's mind, and is it Saturday? Yeah, it is. Yeah, this weekend. 420 coming up. So we were just kind of joking around, Raheem and I, before we came on here. Somebody should run a back test, and feel free if anyone wants to do this and send it our way. The price of equities related to cannabis either on 420 or going into 420 versus the rest of the year or versus, just an ongoing average. But
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see whether or not it gets a bump on that.
Well, what's been interesting is every year it's been 420. We've talked about 420 during the work week.
Sure.
Last time it was probably on a Thursday or a Friday. I can't remember because of the leap year. But typically we've talked about 420 during the work week here on the desk. So this is the first time that it's on a Saturday. So people at home, if you want to do some homework, let us know if stocks did move in and around 420 in the past few years.
Yeah, a couple of interesting names to talk about here as well. And I said to you, we'll start with Canopy here. This daily chart actually looks pretty good.
It does for a company that's, if you look at their 10-year chart, not as good, but they're up 140% in the month. They're down 53% in the year, but the daily chart does look good. They had their AGM 2 days ago where they announced the Canopy US structure. Really want to focus and hammer in on the US opportunity. They believe their stats are $52 billion in THC sales next year is what's to be expected. US elections are coming. Canopy does really want to hammer in on the US strategy. So if you believe in the US, if you believe in what they're doing, if you believe in all things Canopy, then that's why you're seeing the stock move quite well, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, a ton of volume, more interest coming back into these across the board. I mean, you'll see on all of these charts, the interest back again here.
Yeah.
This is Tilray, the other one we had on the list here. Not as good, but at a significant level at least.
Again, same thing. They're up 75% in the month. They're actually up year over year. They're up about 30% because they have been focusing on the beverage side. So they have made a bunch of beverage acquisitions in the U.S. Their beverage revenue was $53 million and it's up 165% year over year. So they are really focusing on that beverage strategy, picking a lot of that up. They are really getting around the 420 thing, but they are also saying 420, but look at our cannabis-infused beverages as well. So,
just to tie in that gold angle for anyone, because I know we'll probably get this question, gold at all-time highs or thereabouts, still holding near all-time highs. Some of these stocks not necessarily participating yet. To try and tie the two together on the potential of buying one of these in relation to gold it's kind of a tough trade here.
It is a tough trade, and again, we're a small cap, mid cap focus.
Right.
Like we like the small caps, and we believe that's where the delta really comes, and the acquisition-ness of some of these companies and closeology to some of these guys. Like if you were a TBR shareholder, as an example, you're up 165% from 3 days ago on that acquisition. So that's where we believe there will be a lot of torque. The larger caps, if you want to go into a Barrick and you want to go from $21 to $23 on the back of the price of gold, that is definitely a way to play it. It is a safer way to play it, and you are tied to a smaller delta, but there is that tie directly to the price of gold. If you believe, Goldman Sachs came out yesterday or day before, said $2,700 gold. People are calling for $3,000 gold. So if you want to play the gold angle, you want to play onto the producers, and that's the way definitely to do it. It keeps your downside at a very small risk tolerance.
Yeah, a lot of people interested in that going into the remainder of this year with
elections and wars and all kinds of stuff, for sure.
Great stuff. Raheem Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups here in Toronto. Good to see you.
Take care, man.
Thank you very much. Whoa, there we go. Thank you very much, Raheem. That was kind of like a false start there. What's going on for a second? Obviously you've seen, we were just looking at, I can't even believe this about Tilray, but I didn't even realize it's been a while since I looked at the stock. I was just checking out DHI because I heard something on the wire about them, but I didn't realize Tilray had given it all back after that run. And clearly, when you look at these, whether it's ACB, Tilray, CGC, I'll look at a stronger one in a second. We've talked about this before. When you get these rallies into the levels where you maybe trapped some longs there before, that's typically not been the place to buy. But when it's down around some support and you look for some kind of a gimmick or something like that to get you going, that can be a better time. And maybe it is a spot for it to bounce. The recently stronger the ones that we typically trade is the post-split one, ACB, which has not given up its gains. So, ACB is still holding out above its second breakout because they had the reverse split, Not everything goes down when you reverse split. It broke out $4. The next level was $5.50. It's now trying to bounce off the last breakout price. So unlike Tilray, this didn't exactly come all the way back to where it bounced from earlier in the day. So good luck for ACB, at least for now.
Yo. Oh, because the air is going. I was like, why is Raheem over here? This is great.
Usually he hangs out on this side.
No, look, I mean, Raheem talked a little bit about that. Some of these names are just so far down, you know, from, like Raheem said, just for call up the 10-year chart for Canopy, you know. It's like they haven't been great investments, but at some point, you know, there's going to be winners and losers. And, I mean, they keep on, you know, investing, reaching out. We'll see if they can get those multi-state operators. There's been a lot of good names. I still have Tesla up because I'm watching to see if we break through 150, 150 to the downside here. But the sticky note's going to be out in just 1 second. And yeah, here we go. Whoopsies, that's the sticky note there. This is my favorite marijuana. We finally got that back. The Weed Batman right there. So that's.
I have it too, but
there you have the weekly chart. Show the weekly chart up for Canopy.
What's wrong with this chart? I mean, like,
what is that high there? Like split adjusted?
You just invert it. Like this top is $600.
600, and what is it at now? $4.
$650. Nah, it's $4. It's at $650.
Oh man, who's running that thing? Kathy Wood. All right, let's go over to the screen with Miss Adara in the vest.
She might be buying it.
Lots of upgrades and downgrades. Pretty interesting here today. One of these, I know for one of these upgrades here, we have eBay, Morgan Stanley giving this one an upgrade. We have some Morgan Stanley downgrades as well we'll talk about in a second. Zscaler getting an upgrade here from KeyBank. JetBlue, amidst some airlines earnings, we have an upgrade for JetBlue from JP Morgan Chase, and Zoom getting upgraded here by Rosenblatt. For downgrades, Etsy here kicking off the list. Morgan Stanley downgrading this one, and Match Group in a series of online-related upgrades and downgrades. We have 2 EV names to round off the list for downgrades. Tesla getting downgraded here by Deutsche Bank, trading down over 2%, and Rivian getting downgraded by Needham. Both of these also having some layoff news. So interesting look here for these upgrades and downgrades, guys.
Let's talk about it as far as individual movers this morning. Let's get right into things. Sharif's going to lead us off here with a look at the overall market.
50.61, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES June contract. Let's say 50.50 as a level of support. We keep going a little bit lower every time, but that 50-point level may come in. Let's say 5,100 as that resistance unless we're able to break through it.
If you have not done so yet, make sure you grab that. It is absolutely free. I say it every day, but I'll continue to say it. Why not? Go to the website, tradertv.live. A pop-up will appear. You enter your email address, and then that just appears for you with all your homework done for you every single morning in the pre-market. That's what happened yesterday. This is the SMH. That's what happened yesterday. Coming off 2 days ago, we had the same kind of a move downside for semiconductors. So if you zoom out a little bit, it's I mean, you get a little bit of a better perspective, but big time levels coming in here as far as support is concerned, allegedly, for semis. But they've run so far that you know, we could potentially get a little bit more.
And the king of the semi manufacturers, Brendo, reported overnight. That goes by the name of Taiwan Semiconductor, the biggest foundry in the world, responsible for almost 60% of the advanced chips that are being produced. Good report for them based on strong demand for advanced chips, specifically the AI chips. Look at this. Revenue up 16.5% year over year. Income up 8.9% year over year. The guide beating what the street was looking for. They guided actually 2 quarters, Brendo. The first quarter revenue between 18 billion to 18.8, and second quarter they're looking at 19.6 billion to 20.4 billion. So fantastic look here for TSMC, despite the fact that they're down.
That's what I was going to say, but down 3% so far this morning. So yeah, I mean, just one of those things. I think it's been so strong that it's hard to really continue to buy these. I just noticed this. This is oil doing that right now. So a bit of a ramp up here for crude oil. I'll check out some of the equities. But what do we think here, guys, for TSM? Some of the semis still in a bit of a downturn.
TSM, okay. We're talking with Raheem about different adventures throughout Europe, different strategies for raising your kids.
And then he trash talked me because he says I support like English soccer team, because he's like, well, how come you only hate like bad teams? He's like,
well, you like the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays, Leafs, Bills.
Blue Jays are
England
good.
soccer.
Blue Jays are not a bad team.
No, but I told him my cousin played for Team England. years ago. So like that, and then from then I've just always, that's the reason I like Liverpool. My cousin played for Liverpool back in the day. And so therefore, what am I supposed to do? I don't have any like reason. Like I don't know why Sharif likes Arsenal. He just likes it. I like Liverpool because I know someone that played for them. TSM, why they're down, like it was weird. I sit down and every chip stock was up on TSM's earnings, and TSM was down. So go figure, it was actually a good quarter. Basically, they told a similar story to what ASML did, which was that the slowdown seems to be in handsets and laptops, because if you looked at the growth by sector, it was the high-end chips and the AI that was providing the oomph to their numbers. So my guess, and if you're trying to explain why it's down 3%, would be that if that's going to slow down, then the other segments are already slowing down and you're just kind of selling off under here. So for TSM specifically, it's underneath the 50 period today. I feel like if this can't recover back above 137, I'm not a huge fan. Like I slapped the fail on myself for this yesterday, and I'm not going to bother hitting it like 3 times today for not having ARM at 120. We've talked about this before. If you sit and wait for the shelf to break on a stock, like remember this day when like the shelf was breaking and I took the short and lost? It's like, okay, you're still waiting for that shelf to go. And when it did, I didn't have my orders set because I wasn't looking at ARM yesterday, which is a huge mistake off of ASML's earnings. That said, I still believe this name, which doesn't report for a bit, after that came to the downside, there's a lot of room for that gap fill. I want to try shorting pops today. If you're going to get dragged to the upside, I saw a bunch of chip names. AMD's up 0.2, NVIDIA's up 1, ARM's down 1%. So if it tries to get back up, I'm going to look to short pops. There's a lot of ways that can set up. I probably take a shot if it sets up here off the pre-market highs.
ARM.
I know like the levels I really like are so far gone, 112, 113. I would have thought on TSM's earnings, maybe you could have had a push up into those levels. But I am looking to short those pops in ARM. Intel, 3670 I liked yesterday. Today I kind of like the 36 area on Intel for the short. So if it gets back into here, that's first look. Otherwise, I still wait for like 3670. Those are the resistance levels. AMD, it's difficult for levels on AMD because it went so far down. So all there is the afternoon 157, I would suppose. But I'm still looking short these chips. The only one, I mean, we've separated Micron, so we'll leave that one for now.
Yeah.
But the other ones, I'm looking to short pops. I think you could get a relief rally today because TSM's numbers were actually pretty solid. But I don't want to be long. I'd have to be convinced. I need to see a pretty good trend that holds up to do that. Well, I like that.
Yeah, I like this. I found this and I tweeted it with the sticky note today. So we're feeling bearish there. That's I should have found Cocaine Bear. Oh well, next time I'll do Cocaine Bear tomorrow.
What's that? Is that like an actual dance, or is he like?
I don't know. It's the bear dance, man. Here, let's see what he. Oops, image description. I'm not. Okay, so I've got AMD and Micron on here, but I know we're talking about TSM. They pre-warned or pre-guided last week. So for me, it's kind of like, okay, whatever. We knew that story. It ran up to the upside. Now it's down a couple percentage points. Do we have NVIDIA? No. So we'll just, I mean, I don't know when we're going to get to it, but I mean, look at this. Again, yesterday on the podcast, make sure you check it out on Saturday. Brendan got all fancy with me, and I was like, do we believe that AMD is in bear territory? And the thing is it's down 32%. So like AMD is down 32%. So that's like not great. You know, that's like really bad. But it's had such a nice run up. So most of us don't really feel the pain on this. But that's why when I was saying before about investing and trading and all that, it really sucks. Like you look up, you're like, oh my God, we were going, and then we weren't. That's why if you are swing trading, you're probably out of this. If you're an investor, you're probably stuck. So I just want to keep shorting until we get back above 160 here for AMD. So I wrote down, let's see about getting back up into that level. And again, when we were looking at it, I mean, the market's not doing much. We're up 0.23. It's a little more than the market. You can see NVIDIA as well was up 1%-ish. Feel like it's fallen back in. No, so still about 1% right there, but 850 bouncing around that level. There's a lot of key levels that are going to come into play today on many of these chip names. So the best thing to do for me is to be patient right off the open. We don't have Tesla on there, or is it because we already sort of did Tesla?
The 150 break.
Yeah. Tesla is basically my number one trade idea today is going to be Tesla. And again, you know, back to yesterday, fine. Yesterday's close. We'll take that short all day. But I like this 150 break. Yesterday we had NVIDIA on the 850 break, and it wasn't great, was not great. But we wound up making decent money on it because we only took the $2. It was right, no, it was just after the show ended. So it was right into, where's the 850 break? No, okay, it was, yeah, 12:30. So there's the first break, boom. But it was aggressive. So it came from 853 all the way down, broke it, banged around like 848, 847.50, gave a couple bottoms before going back up, retracing, and then falling to 842. So this 850 area provided basically all the trading you needed for the whole day, and it was within like 10 minutes. It gave you the first whoosh down, then it gave you the build back up, and look how easy these levels are at the top, 852 again, then this move down. So I'm really super excited for Tesla because I think it's basing out to be the exact same trade. Break through 150, then look at it tell us this 152 top. It's already giving us this trade. So if we get the breakthrough 150, we don't have to be scared because we have a 152 top. We can risk manage this trade. This is one of my number one trades, and hopefully we'll be doing that today. It's down 2.5%. It could easily pop, but if it pops, then we're not in it till 155. So, all right, let's go talk about Google and Meta.
Just real quick, we were discussing this BPTH, big pop here in the pre-market as well. There is actually a positive headline, I guess. They completed a 1B clinical trial on a leukemia treatment. But if you go out to a weekly chart or higher and then scroll all the way back to 2019, this was one of the most epic squeezes I can remember in a long, long time for this BPTH. It's under 1 million shares, so super, super low float. This thing went from basically $30-ish to almost $1,500 in 2 days, going back to 2019. Then it tried it again, I remember, back to 2021, and wasn't as big, but just an absolute epic squeeze. It was $30, $35, $36 up to almost $1,500.
I thought you were talking about HKD there for a second. My goodness.
It was in that kind of territory, yeah. That's BPTH. Yeah, let's talk about Google and Meta. Some quote-unquote strategic job cuts coming out from Google in their real estate, I guess, and finance departments. That was this morning. I mean, Meta and Google getting a positive note here from Bernstein as well.
Yeah, and Canaccord also chiming in on both of them, Brendo, with respect to Meta. It was a nice price target upgrade here from Canaccord Genuity analyst Maria Rips. She ended up giving this one a bump from 580 to 610, maintaining the buy on Meta. With respect to Alphabet, it also got the nod from Canaccord Genuity, this time about a $10 upgrade or price target increase from 180 to 190.
Yeah, we'll hear from both coming up next week, guys, for earnings.
Yeah, it gets spicy when you've got the big earnings. Netflix tonight. We've got the big boys starting next week. Obviously, we already talked about Tesla's earnings, although not there just yet. Look, Amazon made probably a more impressive dip buy. That said, you have some strategic cuts, as you mentioned, by Google, but you also had, for both these names, you had I guess the TikTok news later in the day that got both of them, Meta and Alphabet, a bit of a bounce. So I do like, and in my note this morning, I kind of had Amazon and Google adjacent, but Amazon made a more impressive 180 bounce. So this is underneath 155. It's like 154.5. That looks pretty solid for a dip buy. It's pretty close to it. When I just looked at these two side by side, Amazon might be weaker, but that was one heck of a wipeout low. So I like that 180 back into yesterday's low. Anytime I see that kind of a reversal leg, it's hard not to like that even dollar level the next time through. So, Google 154.5, not bad. Amazon's the one that I'm sitting on. Sometimes you pick right, sometimes you pick wrong, but you gotta, sometimes at 9:30, when you're looking at a few stocks, you can only have so many level twos up, you can only have so many orders out. So sometimes you gotta pick and choose. Like I know I'm going to have ARM, Rivian, Tesla 100%. So if I dedicate one more, I'm picking between Amazon and Google. I'm kind of picking Amazon here.
Okay, I know Neil talked about this, but I just added to the sticky note this ARM. I mean, I'll look at Google. I really like Google. Google was number one P&L, not number one P&L, number one sticky note name yesterday for Google was 155.50. So, I mean, ARM cannot be ignored, and I missed it yesterday. So I'm actually sad about it because that 120 break yesterday was so ridiculously, I mean, easy, honestly. Like, I didn't have it, so it's hard. It's hard. I'm not just going to sit here and say, like, it was so easy to have. I didn't see it. But if we can get back up to this 110, come on. You know, we have to turn a little bearish for sure if we can get ARM in this area here. So I just added it 110 to 111. I mean, you know, and if 112 is where the players dwell, then we'll have to get stopped out. But honestly, in this area, I am shorting ARM. I do not think we get a bump to that area, but if we do, and we're wrong about being bearish. So the one thing that I wanted to say is about the spiders, and we talked about this, and I put it in the sticky note. This is its largest losing streak of the year, 4 straight days. So we're 4 straight down days. It's the largest streak of the year. I mean, streaks could continue. But I could see a little bit of a bump back up today in the SPY early. Just the bulls try to come in and say enough is enough. It's big tech earning on deck. Let's see if we can get this market to the upside. But then that's when I think we come back and we just roar and we start to hit those shorts. So I want to see a pop up in this market so that we can fade some of these names. So for me, just because we're on Google, I know we're running on time. I should hurry up here. Google, I still like that 155.50 level. It was the trade of the day yesterday for me. But at the same time, I'm trying to look short. So I'm not focused on these two names that have positive catalysts. I'm trying to find some more negative names and negative levels that I like. So ARM is on watch, Tesla is on watch, and the chip names are on watch. But yay Google and yay Meta.
Real quick, wanted to show this chart. Zoom, ZM. I was just reading a positive note on Zoom this morning from Rosenblatt, raising Zoom to a buy. This thing missed all-time lows, guys, yesterday by 3 cents and is gapping up slightly this morning, $60.50. That's a weekly chart of Zoom. Unreal how that thing's just grinding along lows like that. 6.1 billion here for Micron coming through from the US government. Nice gap up here this morning.
Yeah, and they didn't really get the bulk of the money that came in from the CHIPS Act. That's going to go to Taiwan Semi and Samsung mostly, obviously some Intel as well. But the demand here is for their high bandwidth memory, HBM, which is used in conjunction with AI chips. They have multiple locations under construction in the US right now. They're building a fab near Syracuse as well as another one in Michigan. So we'll have to see how this happens, but they could see the money, Brendo, as soon as a few weeks.
Yeah, we are fading out this move, initial move anyways, so far this morning, but still above yesterday's.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they get to be up 1% after, like, if you get a positive catalyst after a day like this, like that gap up, which is being sold off in the pre-market, doesn't necessarily excite me. So, like on a normal day, I mean, after what you saw with ASML and TSM's negative, it's hard to get terribly excited about this bounce in Micron. I'm still half thinking about that Zoom flat bottom break that you just showed, Brendan, because it's too bad that's a positive catalyst. It might not happen today, but maybe alert Zoom at 59, it looked like, was a big level. Anyways, if we hold yesterday's low at the open and start trending from there, then I would say if we start having a strong day for the chips and relief rally, then the first place I'm going to look would be over at Micron. But I'm not going to be, like, it's not on my note to go long. Yeah, that's it. If we end up with a strong day that the shorts haven't worked out, then I probably would look long Micron first. That's about it.
Micron. So, okay, I was just looking at the sticky note there. Thanks again for everybody that's supporting it. I have Micron listed here on the sticky note. I think 120 is the short. So let's call up Micron here. I'm not going long anything today until I see a turn in this market. And I just put in the chat there, see, I should have got short before speaking more confidently about the short. because, you know, as we were talking, this thing dropped down about 25 handles there on the NASDAQ, to be expected just at the bottom, as we'll await some of these imbalances coming through. But you know, this has been working, right? The market, so that's fine. Micron's been working, but the chips aren't. So again, key level 120, you know, thanks for the $6 billion US government, and sorry about that, taxpayers. But at the end of the day, you know, I still think this is a short. I don't like this. I like the space, but I'm bearish today, so I'm gonna fade any pops. The drop in, I mean, I don't really have any bids to cover here. You know, 110, I don't think we're gonna get anywhere near there today, but that could be a spot there. You know, it's not a gap, but could we fill it back to 100? Sure. You know, that is a possibility here on Micron as well. I mean, remember, AMD was baby NVIDIA. AMD had cheaper chips. AMD's this and that. You know, Lisa Su came out all fancy like, boom. So, I mean, we can expect very, very similar things here in many different chip names. I mean, look what Intel's doing, for example. I mean, that was 40, what was the top? 54, was it? Or did we even get that high?
More or less.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 52-ish. Yeah, whatever that wick is. Yeah, 52 and change. Boom goes Intel. Like, Intel just at the beginning of the month was $44. You're down 25% this month, pretty much. 20%. I mean, and the month is 10 trading days old. Anyways, all right, let's go back over to the desk. I'm a short on Micron.
I don't know. Crypto up next. Is there the possibility of a bounce here off 60,000? Once again, we held it a number of times here. This is a daily chart for Bitcoin, still kind of grinding along the lows right now. It's not really convincing at this point, let's put it that way, as far as whether or not we do get a bounce today.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're trying to hold above 62 right now, 62.3. There's a couple of notes here to keep in mind. Bernstein giving the nod to Coinbase with a market perform and a price target of $200. The previous price target by Bernstein was $80, so a little overdue. The other one here is this piece from the Dow Jones Global News about the Bitcoin halving and the anticipation of when that will happen. I was just talking to Brendo off camera here. 21 million Bitcoin is the amount that's total that's ever going to be minted, released, whatever. And apparently, according to this article, 90% of that has already been mined. So 10% left, Brendo.
Yeah, we might as well just touch on Coinbase real quick here as well. There's a price target increase for Coin. Back to the upside this morning as well. We're still positive 1.7%, trying to get going also.
Sorry, I just caught looking at what Sean had shown on the screen.
I don't know what this is. I was looking at Instagram here, and I don't know. I like
distracted me.
I don't even know who this is, but like, how sick would this be? Like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking of like my daughter and just kids and being in a family like this, where like you're at lunch. And then I have no idea what this is, but it's just, he's at lunch, he's getting a scholarship or something like that. This is this guy, oh, there it is. Yeah. Whoever this guy is an absolute monster. But anyways, I was just looking there, posting this.
The guy should go to Michigan State.
And yeah, that's
not that they have a good football team, but
I don't know. I was not really welling up, but I was that's nice to see that kind of stuff. Okay.
Coinbase 225 short. I like. We're talking about crypto. Wait, we have crypto then Coinbase? Oh crap! I was going to talk about coin there. Yeah, for crypto, it's a 60,000 play. Like if it gets to 60,000, I think we look for that support level again on Bitcoin in particular. I think it worked yesterday. Maybe you don't get a shot at it. There's always a chance that the reversal play could be to like a resistance upside level, like somewhere in the 64.5 range where it topped out before. So you could set that up, but we're right in the middle of both local resistance and support. So on Bitcoin itself, no trade for me unless you're getting a fade off the top or a bounce off 60,000. And then Coinbase, I'll just say it now, like we already pulled this one up, and you look at the last couple of sessions on Coinbase and you see this 225 just like right out there for you. If this is the range, it's got support at 5. It's got resistance up here. There's positive news. There's a really decent chance you could test that level right off the open.
Attention, Mara shareholders. you potentially have a problem. I mean, if we break, I mean, you already do have a problem. This stock is already down 50% in a month. But, I mean, you know, this is the thing about buying stock. You want to buy stock at these levels, not at these levels, at these levels. So if you believe in, you know, the mining game and you've done enough work about what this halving and all that kind of stuff means for Mara, I mean, or any of these stocks, I think Bitcoin's getting flushed a little bit now. This is probably worth a shot, honestly. I'd like to see it get back above the 200. That's the responsible thing that we tend to do. So back above 16, I think this is go time. But I mean, for a day trade, why not try to buy this 14-ish area that's held before? I mean, even if you hold it against yourself 30, 40 cents, I think you could get that move back up. Bitcoin's starting to go. It's at 62.4 again. It held that 59. I like Mara down on that down low. We are getting a little bit of a bump up. Tesla was about to break 150 there. Then the imbalances came out at 925. Here are the imbalances right now. Snap. I'm just going to see if there's anything in nothing really. There's Amazon 181, but we got to go back to the desk.
Guys, today we are talking about Bollinger breakouts. We're talking about small caps all week, so we'll talk about that within the context of small caps, capturing momentum with Bollinger Bands. Check that out with Adira and I today on How to Trade at 11.
All right, good old Bollinger Bands. So there's actually a couple of names, well, one name that matters, a couple of names here on the early look imbalances. TSM is already 1.3 million shares to the sell side, and that's early on. Snapchat with a small buy, but that's in the play because yesterday it ran on that TikTok-ish news. So I think that's going to come into play. We didn't really get a chance to specifically talk about the EV names, so I think this is a chance to do it here. I think we've already sort of looked at Tesla being under pressure in the 150 level. If it breaks it, sometimes there's like 150 on Tesla. What was it? It was like 500 on NVIDIA. Like there's crowded trades. There's trades that when the bottom breaks, you just want to be on it. So Tesla's one of them. Rivian on that news yesterday that they're now cost cutting. This was actually green and holding a breakout. So I was in the long at 01s and got stopped out 95 when that news dropped. That's to me a rejection of the 9 level, and it could flat bottom break here through 865, 860 actually, because it got there in the pre-market, or just short to $9 if there is a pop on Rivian. So I don't want to completely ignore Rivian today after that turnaround at 9. I think you can short underneath the $9 level on Rivian. And I suppose if Piton finally breaks that $3 that I waited for all day yesterday, I'll probably be there as well. Just a few other names in there. And TSM, by the way, on that imbalance to the sell side, it did drop. It's not like it didn't do anything. TSM's fallen a couple of dollars. Now 4% down on earnings. It was 7 or 8% for ASML at the end of the day. TSM now 4% down.
Okay, just looking here at the market's starting to pop here. So, I mean, I was looking at AMD and thinking to myself, like, okay, I mean, the market's not popping. Some individual stocks are. I should slow down on that. The market is still trying to go lower. But look what's happening to AMD right now. I don't know. I mean, did we get something out right here? I'm not seeing anything on Benzinga or anything.
NVIDIA's going to.
Yeah, so some of these chip names starting to go early right now. So here we go. Wow, here goes. All right. I feel like maybe there's a story. Who's over there? Is anybody, is Adara over there? All right, so we're starting to go now. Let's see what NVIDIA is doing. I mean, there could also be no story, but it's just like AMD is really starting to go to the upside right now, which is fine. I want to fade pop, so this is fine. Tesla's starting to move to the upside as well. It just got to 150, 150. Maybe we have to get 152 on the short, but I'm still trying to break that 150 bottom. So if Tesla gets down there, I will hit that. I've already got the order in. So we will short the 150 break as it was written on the sticky note. So we'll wait out for that one, and then we'll wait for a 155 top as well. And then the other name that we didn't get to, which was yesterday's sort of, you know, we looked at this yesterday. A lot of things have been moving down, but unfortunately, for me too, I think Palantir is a short in and around 22 bucks. So we'll try to short that if that can come into that level. I like Palantir for sure. I know it's a long-term story. I think we all do. But by the way, when the market was up 0.3 and we started, getting bearish on it, well, now the market's getting jiggy with it, and we're getting to the downside right now. We are going to open up probably red right off the jump, so watch out for any breaks lower. AMD with a nice pop-up. Tesla, Palantir, the markets, and Micron is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, it looks like, Williams said
Wow,
some stuff.
Micron's tanking.
The chips, TSM and Micron both just tanked big. Williams said something about rate cuts determined by economic activity, yada, yada, and some talk about lowering, but nothing new I didn't see out of Williams. They'll eventually need to cut, I think he said, but there's no rush to do it anytime soon. Fed Williams speaking. But we're open in 3, 2, and 1. Ring it.
Guys, Micron's down $3. I mean, it was, it's going. This should be a fun trade here. Micron dancing around right now, tanking into 115, into 114 goes Micron. Damn you, Micron. Okay, that was a short that we wanted, but we had written it down here on the sticky note at 120 for a pop. We're waiting at 119 for MU. Palantir, we're waiting higher. Not much happening there. Let's go over to the big dog. Tesla,
151.
yeah, doing nothing. We're going to wait. I still have it up. If it breaks 150, I do want to punch that short, so I'm all about that. I'm all about that base. Right here, here's NVIDIA, nice pop up to that 852 level. Isn't that same level that I had that story about yesterday? How we faded that. Oh my God, Neil, how did I forget about ARM?
ARM, okay, it's already broken down. You're not going to get short of pop. It just went 105 through the downside. Oh, Rivian took out its local bottom.
Tesla's trying to go higher here.
Yeah, Tesla's bouncing. ARM's tanking. I guess we want to wait. I guess I want to wait for some kind of a pop-up to short ARM. Rivian took out the local bottom even when Tesla didn't. So it's yesterday's low. It kind of broke this 60. And I missed that fill looking at ARM. I didn't give this back to this previous high, like 65. And if the Tesla's not flushing, I want to be careful with that one because some sympathy is always good when you're making these trades. NVIDIA is back. Okay, NVIDIA's already back through 850.
I just tried to get,
Shoot, so like missed a 850. I'm going to check Intel's. We're going to Intel's popping. I might short the pop in Intel if it gets to 36.
Before we go to Adair, I just have to advise everybody I'm getting FOMO now. So, let's just wait. No, because we missed that AMD, and I just punched a very, very small piece below 155. Trying to get shorter on AMD here around 155.40. Right now, what's up, Adair?
I didn't see any news on AMD. There has been a lot of Twitter mention, though, especially leading up to the open in the few minutes before the open there. But also worth noting here, some comments from Fed's Williams, pretty mixed, basically saying that he doesn't feel the urgency to cut rates. Eventually, they will need to be cut, but he also does not see that there will be rate hikes. He said rate hikes are not my baseline forecast, and that basically if the data called for higher rates, the Fed would hike the rates. So kind of mixed sentiments here coming from Fed's Williams. If we hear anything else, I will let you know.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. I'm always early on that sucker. Amazon did go into that 180 level, already. So it is right down in a 180. I just got the offer at 180.40 as it's heading back up. I want to get some out on the way to 181 there. Rivian's still sort of chilling. We're not going to be able to get ARM, and we're absolutely tanking on NVIDIA right now.
Market.
The chips are dying here. I'm going to be taking this profit on the bounce off 180 in Amazon because everything else is just absolutely dying here.
Who remembers this meme or whatever this thing is? Yeah. I mean, clap, clap, clap. There goes the market. I mean, all right. We took a little bit of profit here on AMD, but the chip names are strong. What is tanking is what I need to know because I'm looking at the chip names here. They're going up. I'm looking at...
No, ARM's down. Micron's down.
Okay, well, I mean,
Intel's going up.
Right now I'm looking at AMD, and that's...
Intel's kind of going up.
Yeah, well, if Intel's going up, then I got to figure out what's going on because right now we are short, and we're racking again. Right? Whoa, shit! No, too many shares. Okay, all right. So whoa, all right. I better slow down here. I almost made a keystroke that some people are familiar with too many shares there. Okay, here we go. Let's just keep on going. Let's get some more outs. Let's go. Come on, AMD. Here we go. 156. We're in this now. Ride or die, AMD. Let's get back down into the downside. Here we go. Man, we're almost hitting our goals. Let's just see what happens here. It's 933. Let's get to the downside. Can the bears come through like we predicted 1% to go almost? Get down. Boom. That's the trade that you're looking for, baby. That's the #1 trade of the day. Get out of here, sticky note. Nice to see you. We had that AMD short, and let's see if we can finally print on it. But, Neil, it's not going down as much as the market.
The market
so I think it was Micron probably the one to choose.
It might have been. Micron obviously it had that massive tank at the open. No, before the open. It wasn't at the open. It was before the open. So look, I took the money and ran on Amazon, and I defend that decision because everything looks bearish. So it wicked that 180. If you're still in it, great. I'm not. I got out at VWAP, and if it's better than 50 cents, then you make a decision. You live with it. I went over to ARM. ARM just tanked down. So look.
What are we doing?
We're not getting the pop in ARM. We shorted it back through the 105. We shorted the pop. It just came down through 104. I think we're headed to $100. I was asked today if I think we're going to gap fill to 80. I think eventually, but I mean, 80 is a long ways away. So once again, ARM under pressure here as we are absolutely flushing. The market went from green to red, and most of the chip names are hitting lows. Pretty much everything at the bottoms.
AMD finally to the downside, really starting to go down here. 155, man. Wowzers. What's up, A?
Big move up here for UAL right off the open. United Airlines now up about 5%. This is a day 2 earnings name, and they had 3 nice little price target increases here. $70 from B of A, 80 from Morgan Stanley, 60 from Susquehanna. So nice move up here for UAL right off the open with volume, guys.
There it is. Huge move to the downside right now. We are now in a dollar club position here for AMD, the trade of the sticky note day here so far. We only have 1 trade on, guys, and it is one of those trades as we get to going to the downside right now. Now $1.50 in the money. And I said we were using too many shares by accident. Sometimes accidents are good. Shout out to my guy over there, Adam DeLuz, as well. Bang! This is what happens when you are confident about your trades. Make your trades, put them there, give them out to everybody for free. It's Trader TV Live. Hopefully you're having a good time. I'm just going to sit back, relax right now because this is what we're doing, man. This is a big day. It's 1 trade, and that's all that you need when it's $2 in the money. Big splash here over there. The Splash Brothers are in the damn building right now. Let's go. 154. Boom! Ignited again, man. 14-2 last 16 days. And I mean, maybe we'll just stop now. But no, we're going to keep going. Who knows what this day is going to bring? Still very, very early.
The new Splash Brothers, because the old Splash Brothers about to be out the playoffs, bro.
I ain't missed the playoffs in my whole career.
Nah, it is what it is. I'm not the great dynasty. Shout out to the Golden State Warriors. But look, ARM just bounced off 103. There might be a chance to reload this at 105. It was in the money a couple of bucks, and we've let it come back. We already took some profit on it. I do want more short.
$3.
I don't want just 2 names here. Like, I want to get something else. Intel obviously is rolling back into the downside. Oh, like NVIDIA.
Down.
NVIDIA is at $8.35. NVIDIA's dropped $15 at the open. It is getting destroyed. Tesla, we're still... It hasn't broken 150 yet, but it doesn't mean we're not taking 150 if it breaks.
Only bearish.
So 150, we're looking for that break. I've got the order in through. We do want more short names than just what we have, but this is absolutely nasty. Like, the moves to the downside have been sick. Micron down $4. Like, pretty much, if you're in a chip name short, you've absolutely won at this point. Adara?
We have the SPY breaking negative here as we get some more comments from Feds Williams saying that the Fed still has work to do to lower inflation. So that comment coming out of Feds Williams, again, still seems like he's speaking. If I see anything else, I will let you guys know.
Yeah, Rivian just broke 840. This could see $8 today. Why is Tesla not breaking? That's what I want to know. Like, what is going on here? Why is Tesla holding on so well to those tops or to these bottoms? So glad. Look, at the end of the day, we got out of Amazon. It's still holding around VWAP, so there's still some strength off the 180. There's always a chance that it can, like, double tap that bottom, and we can try to go get that one again. So, I mean, it is what it is. Right now, the shorts are good. SMCI just checked, $30 move to the downside. Basically, every single chip name is getting smashed. TSM, which had their earnings, if you guys are watching them, they're at 130 and still falling. That dropped a good $4 or $5 off of the open. So ARM was the top of my list, but really it should have been at the top of the list yesterday when it went like double digits to the downside. Right now it's only down 4%. I think there's more to go. I think we test 100 today.
We're $3 damn in the money right now. And the thing about this all is, look what we said here. We want to fade. We even do a little cute bear emoji here. And then we do this dancing bear. TQQ short, 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 short. Market was up 0.3 when we wrote this sticky note. Now you are down 0.53. Market really going short. And guess what? It's one trade. And that's that. And now we're $3 in the money, and it's really cranking lower and lower and lower, and Tesla is about to break. So let's get another piece out right now on this one. Props it up for AMD. I know I'm going to get the fill. Let's just sit there and see. There goes Tesla right now, breaking through, no, at 150. So it's not broken yet, but when it does, it will go. And there it goes right now. It's Tesla. It is downside. I don't know how far we're going to go. We're not actually going anywhere right now. So watch out. This could be that retracement trade. We talked about that. We got a little piece out underneath 150.
I got one fill.
Yeah, let's just see what happens now. There's a little bit of a retracement here. Back up to the upside on Tesla. I am short 90s right now, to be exact 92. And we just took some pieces out right there for flat. So now let's see if it can battle back to the downside right now. Let's go, baby. We have this trade, and guess what's happening again, guys? This is just what it is. Hit the damn sirens again. This is the trade. It's Sticky Note Nation. It's written all over there. This is another trade that we've had on the board. We wrote down 150, smash level short, and that's what's happened. So now we go to the downside. We're $4 in the money on AMD. We're 50 cents-ish, 30 cents-ish in the money on Tesla. And today we're going to go 2 for 2, and it's just one of those days again over here. So you guys can see what's happening. We've got these shorts on. ARM is a short.
What the hell?
Let's go to Adair quickly. What's up?
Benetech Biopharma currently halted, but some info in this one now up about 30%, basically receiving $40 million in oversubscribed private placement financing, also having some positive trial data, float of about 2.42 million shares. BNTC on watch, guys.
I just overbid Tesla. I did the same thing you did, but I was in a short and got out and accidentally reversed long. So I immediately punched out. Basically, that's what happens. Like, you have X amount short, you put a bid for too much. I reversed long. I punched it out instantly and didn't lose on it. But watch out here for a second, because NVIDIA just made this wick bottom, which could take some chips back up to the upside. I think that could be a short opportunity for the name I didn't get into. So let's get back over to it. And I like Intel back into VWAP. We've done this before, so if there is a bounce, I'm just going to sit
up any stocks
on VWAP. All right, Tesla, let's go back to it because that was the last thing that happened. So look, you'll see right in here where there's the red. That was me keystroking into a long position that I immediately covered. I'm going to look to just simply get back in. You know, it didn't mean to get out, obviously, in that particular situation. But if you make an accidental trade, to me, you get out. And I especially didn't want to be long. Obviously, the long down here at 60-something would have worked. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to get out of it.
Yeah, we only have 10% left of our Tesla. So for that, I mean, it's not as big as a trade as we had hoped. I mean, but you know, you heard both of us sort of say there, like when it was reversing, it was kind of. I don't want to say, no, but even Tesla, like, it wasn't breaking lower. It should have really gone there. You know, like, there's reasons why, you know, you switch up and you get aggressive on AMD, like when you see this kind of stuff. You know, remember I was saying I had FOMO here at 155, but then it just came back up and you just chill out. And that's where we did put on shares. And we put on, I mean, as we just mentioned, there are probably too many. But at the same time, you know, it just started to crank. I got out too many there because I was like, oh my God, oh my God. But Tesla's now falling back into lows again here. We don't have a huge trade on. We've already taken some out of this name. I think we both like the name. But again, at some point, it's, you know, it's not doing what I thought it would do at this level. 150 is such a big level that I thought we would have had more than that. And just real quick here, and then I'll throw it back. I have like single-digit points on AMD left. You know, we're under 10% left on this name. I don't remember exactly how much I had, but we've already, when we hit 153 there, we couldn't believe that. We took that out. When we hit the low of the day in the pre-market, we took that out. These are $1.50, $2 trades. Sure, it goes $4 in the money. We did take a piece out there. We need to do better on making sure we hold.
Now Tesla's starting.
But we did hold Tesla. Did you get back in? Because
I had to get back in again, but it just bounced off. It just bounced off 149.5 twice. So it's still trying to hold on to the bid. I still haven't gotten Intel. By the way, orders in if Peloton breaks $3. It's at 303 or something like that. So it's getting really low. NVIDIA is popping. So while that's happening, it's at VWAP or close enough to VWAP. It's Intel I want the short of if we get to VWAP. If the market bounces here, that's the one I want to grab. You'll indulge me. I have to want to check in. Yeah. Oh, there it happened.
What?
So right when Tesla, that whole like just now on Tesla getting bid at 50, that's exactly when Amazon double wicked 180, and there it is. Amazon holds this 180 level. Now it's going higher. This is one of the two things I was going to look for a long in. I did scalp one earlier. Google would have been the other, but Google's not as strong, so I'll stay away from, at least for now, I'll stay away from Alphabet. But Amazon, good off the 180 if you have it. I haven't really checked on Bitcoin, but I can tell you that Coinbase is nowhere near resistance at 225. Coinbase still at the low. So probably not going to short the pops in Coinbase because there's no pop.
Right, right. But
Where is Bitcoin, though?
a drop.
62, yeah, that's fine. I look at Sean's because Sean has it up, so I can always look.
Yeah, 62.4. And by the way, guys, we wrote down on the sticky note that we were smashing Tesla short 150. So we have 2 trades today, and you know, we always talk about this. You know, you got to trade your own stuff, and you got to do what you're going to do, right? And we talk about, you know, looking at different trade styles, looking at how you're trading. That's all that matters. Okay, I mean, like I just said, I don't know why Tesla's not going down. We're going to try to hold some. So then we did, and then here it comes in. It's like it's working out basically perfectly today. And it's not just today. It's just this is what happens when you kind of try to follow your rules, and the market is a volatile one. We talked about trading when the VIX is like down near 10, 12, 13. Like 13's okay, but as you get a little lower there, it gets boring sometimes. And now the VIX is elevated, so traders' positions are starting to now, you know, get tested at their limits, whether or not you're long AMD or Tesla. Now you get that flush, right? When the market's just sleepy Joe Biden, then you can't do anything. But right now, the market's waking up, baby. And you can get bigger moves like this. So that's exactly what we're doing. It's a register ringing situation. And honestly, sometimes you get lucky. I was talking about this with Wayne yesterday, and we had a great time there at the Hall of Fame. We talked about that. And it was just like, you also got to be lucky, because I changed up my strategy to get more aggressive, to hold on for longer, you know, to do different work and look at different things. And now the market's behaving in that way. So, you know, it's not really a scalper's market, which we do around here. It's also swing. Like, you can also get these bigger moves. Like yesterday, I think, Neil, on 8, wasn't yesterday's NVIDIA's range like $40 or $50?
It was insane. NVIDIA is now flying.
Look at even the range today, even, man. 850 to 825. I don't know.
It's right back to, it might be back to this 850. Oh my goodness, do we want an 850 reload? I'm going to reload ARM on this pop underneath the pre-market lows, because like that's the one. Like if I lose on a reload short, I want it to be ARM for sure, because underneath that pre-market low, like if I have my number one losing stock today, if there is one, it should be ARM. But NVIDIA 850 is awfully tempting if it comes back in and wicks that top. I mean, I'll double check AMD or something else, but I think that's got to be the one. I never even picked up Intel. I'm actually going to cancel. I'm going to cancel that order on Intel, because the market just popped and the chip just popped big, and Intel didn't really go anywhere. So I feel like it should be a more shallow bottom there on that one. Wow, even Tesla. Where's my order on Tesla? I wanted a bid of 145, but if this comes into VWAP, I think we want to give this a chance to get back into that 150 level. So let it test 150. Maybe the 150 half can be a reload zone as well. But if we get 850 again, I mean 850. Like look at the 850 short on NVIDIA. If that comes in again, I think it's worth a shot. But we're going to have to be very, very patient. It's at 841. That's a long ways away. Like it's literally like $8 away from it right now. You don't want to jump in just now because you think it happens to be turning.
Yeah, no, this is a pretty dangerous environment right now. I mean, the market is trying to just figure itself out. We were waiting at 148.21, and it never got there. So Tesla right now is on a march back up through 150 one more time. I mean, this market really got something underneath it right now. So let's just see, man, a little bit of booster juice here as you get right back upside. All short again at 150, but I'm going to get out if it breaks 150.50. That was the high on that last little wick there. Again, the worst thing to do is you get these big wins, and then the market does something that you don't expect, and then you lose everything that you made on when you were right. So that might be old days. That's not new days. We're not doing that. So we're going to wait. If it breaks through 150, we are going to have the discipline to get out of that. So I'll take a little bit more here just because I still believe in the short, but this will be a 50-cent hit. And that will be that. So we'll take, there we go. So here, look at this. Now we're really starting to go here. So whether or not this market wants to, go higher from here, I'm fine with that. We will just get out of these positions and then just work on a better plan. So that's what we're going to do. We have 150.50. That was the high of the open so far, the opening range. It's now, wow, we're actually 20 minutes in. I didn't realize, I thought it was a little earlier than this. But here we go. So there it goes. Okay. So we'll slap a fail.
I'm out Tesla.
Yep, we'll slap a fail on the reload, and I'm fine with that.
I'm out Tesla. I'm out ARM for now. Rivian's holding on to the 860 level. NVIDIA's at 846. So it's really close to the 850. I still like that 850 level. I did say if I looked over, I like Amazon long, but obviously you're not getting the 180 again. Let's be real about that. VWAP maybe. I said if there was a long to be had in the chip names, Micron had a positive catalyst. It's not the strongest of the bunch. I think Amazon's the long I like. Google as well. But holding VWAP or waiting for a dip buy, I can't open bearish and then immediately be flipping longs at highs. That's not the way to go. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to jump back in on Wix and ARM, and I still want this 850 level to play on NVIDIA. So nothing's at prices that I want to be flipping the longs at.
All right. Yeah, I'm getting close. Whoopsies. Oh, no, I put the, I put the, I didn't mean to trade in and out of Tesla there. My bad. I wanted to get into Google there, so I was just on the wrong stock. So you just saw me get in and out of Tesla. That was a mistake. I did not mean to do that by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, so now we're in, it was at the same price. Google and Tesla were both at the 50-cent level. So I was like, oh, I'm going to buy here. So we get in and out of Tesla there. Not much damage there at all. That was a mistake. I was just going to say yesterday's level I liked for what Neil was talking about there, finding levels. So I liked this level yesterday on Google. I agree. I don't think it's very prudent to be flipping around now and switching your opinion too much. But that was a pretty aggressive move. And when we looked at the NASDAQ before, 17.4, 17.5 were good bounce levels there. So, we got stopped out at Tesla there. It's now it's coming back in. Would have been fine. We were short at 150. We were short at 150.10s or so at that last time. We got out at 150.50, but now we're back in to a long here. Not sure if it's going to work, but Google back into VWAP was kind of what I was hoping. That's right where we are right now, so I have a decent price. We're long at 49. We'll see if we can get a little bit better. I'm thinking about buying in and around 155.20. And then if this one drops out and the short wins, then the short wins. I mean, I'm going to try this one more time here on Google, and I believe I heard we're going to Adara.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Oh, check that. Oh, that's all good.
Oh, that's fine. I couldn't hear in my ear anyways. So, all right, we'll go to Adara in a couple of seconds when due time.
So
go ahead.
I wanted to, while I was assuming incorrectly that NVIDIA was going to give a run of the 850 level, it didn't. So I was staring at that level too. I was looking for a false breakout at 850. It didn't quite get there. Remember I mentioned ARM was going to reload ARM. So we had the short, we took the 150, but then we did the reload. It took out 106, wicked 106. So I jump back in. If I get a wick top like that, re-entry, basically at our same price, get some out at VWAP. If it holds a local high, great. If it doesn't, I think we get back to the low if it holds a local high. If it doesn't, then we have to move on to the next. NVIDIA, what I mean by not getting to 850, you could be short in front of it, but when it does that kind of reverse, I kind of want to see it fail the 850 level directly. Trap some people long and then give me the short. So that's what I would be looking for there. Chill Vibes, what up? Can we check UAL? And D saying, look at Meta. Before we go to Adara, I've been eyeballing Amazon for strength, but apparently the real strength is in Meta, up 2%. So shout out to you guys for mentioning that. And yeah, UAL. If there was a stock to be long for the last 2 days, I mean, it was the airline.
Yeah, they had a great report.
UAL. Adara.
Thank you very much to our sponsor, VinFast. VinFast is committed to their mission. The company reiterated that they're on track to deliver 100,000 vehicles in 2024 from the bustling streets of Vietnam with their new VF 2024 to the highways of North America with their luxurious VF7 and VF9. VinFast is setting the pace for a greener tomorrow. Also as well here, keep an eye on this Vertex Energy, VTNR, up about 25% after providing a higher than expected update for their operational productions for the first quarter of 2024. They also have a short float of about 18%.
All right, Google just fell down there. So we got out there on that break. So I think what we were talking about before is probably right to stay in what's been working. We're still positive. We're still really fine. Like I said, we've changed. We've noticed that you've been able to make good trades early and hold on to those good trades. And that's sort of what we've been doing. We had that opportunity to reload. I was near 156 there, so we did not get that opportunity to reload, unfortunately, on AMD. Let me go over to another weaker name. Okay, well, now you're breaking the bottom in Intel, so see you later on that one. And then you are about to, I guess, break VWAP here on NVIDIA, which is probably a decent spot as well, breaking through 839. I think that's worth a shot. I'm going to take that short, breaking through 839, I guess, there. But we just bounced off 850. Do you guys want to try that? Let's try an 848 fill. If we can get something around there, I think that might be worth it into 850. Here we come. I mean, now we're really going. We do have the short in AMD, so we're going to watch out for that. Remember, we'll watch out for an 852 break high side on NVIDIA, but let's start it in and around 848 if it gets there. We're starting to go, man, on a lot of these names. NVIDIA trying to bounce off. Maybe we can look at SMH. It's very, sometimes like when you're trading NVIDIA, it's very, very like specific.
Doing its own thing.
Yeah, like it's very specific to what the prices are for NVIDIA itself. So maybe if you wanted to play the short and not be too worried about that 850 level,
oddly enough,
then this 210 area is not horrible for SMH, but it's got to get there.
SMCI is weaker.
Than NVIDIA? NVIDIA is not weak. NVIDIA is positive today.
I know what I'm saying. NVIDIA is positive. SMCI is down 1.8% and struggling to get back above the 9. It did the same wick bottom reversal on strength that NVIDIA did, like ridiculous, like $50 move down and then a monster bounce, but it's actually struggling through previous resistance. And I don't wonder if it's not like a little bit better if it fails this 950 level. Oh, Rivian just came out. I'll get back to that in a second. Rivian just came back out.
What were you, short Rivian?
I was short Rivian 55 into 40s, reloaded it back into 55, and it just took out 65. But I don't wonder, just finishing that thought, I don't wonder if SMCI, Intel, might be better secondary plays. If NVIDIA gets to 850, I still like the 850 play just specifically off of that level. But yeah, SMCI bouncing with everything else, but I still don't want to be going long. Like, if you look at the bigger picture here on this thing, does it look like a long yet? I don't know. It still kind of feels, this feels like a fade under 950. So I don't want to jump. I'm not jumping away from it. I don't mind. Like, if you lose on the short after it was so good the last few days, waiting for it, I think that should be okay. And if this is still setting up as a short, then I should still be looking that way.
Okay. AMD trying to make that push down. We did not get that NVIDIA trade. 155, 154 and change right here. Okay. Oh.
What is going on?
I was a little bit thrown there because this is what my wife goes. This is shout out to Adara. She goes, midnight, baby, are you excited? And I'm like,
huh?
Midnight. Interesting. I have no idea what that means.
Is that a thing?
It's the damn drop of the Tortured Poets Department, which of course is
I'm on camera.
T-Sweezy. So T-Swizzle going to drop some bombs. It's going to be some bangers on there. I'm going to have to hear it all damn summer. Thank you for that, Taylor Swift. So that will be dropping, although thank God my daughter, I believe, likes Olivia Rodrigo more, so that's good. So shout out to O-Rod.
Same thing in our house.
Okay, right. All right, let's just keep on looking on there. Yeah, here we go. Okay, now I have, all right, now she's sending me these memes and everything like that. All right, let's move on. Obviously, the world excited, or people are anyways, for T-Sweez. All right, 154.80 right there. Google does touch into some bottoms, but the thing about it is you are about to break on the TQs possibly here on the NASDAQ. So with AMD now $2 back into the money, and unfortunately our Tesla, We got out at 150.50, but it is looking to break lower as well right now through this level of 149.50. I'm actually debating punching that 149.50 level to the short side.
I'm thinking just short it back into VWAP.
Well, if I can get
First
it,
available pop, I'm thinking on Tesla. Like I'm only in on like ARM is the one. It's been like the constant, but like so Tesla's coming up now is what we're sort of both saying. So 150, 150 and a half. I think you can probably get on a push to the upside, and if it clears 151, then we can worry about that. Oh yeah, SMCI. Let me just.
He's in the
Tesla
building.
first. Oh, that was Ty.
Yeah, he's in the building, man. This guy's crushing.
Ty knows what's up. By the way, I'm interested. The boys went golfing the other day. And I was actually very impressed at the lack of trash talking between, like, there was 2 foursomes, 8 guys from the trading floor. It was a 4-on-4. I will tell you that Brankel's and Max's team apparently dominated, and they were very cool about it. And I feel like the trading floor wasn't always like that. Like, usually it'd be a lot of trash talk, because that's how everybody rolls. But I just got into
I get the
Tesla.
feeling there's not too many golfers there behind us.
I think it was different when
hearing.
some of the other guys were really good back in the day. I think now they're just all kind of doing it for fun. But good on them for having a little bit of fun. I can't golf in these days. But Tesla short. What else? We had ARM still short. And
we just had existing. I mean, we should have gone to Adair for existing home sales. Do we have that? Because that's out. There it is.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, we did get that existing home sales number, 4.19 coming in versus forecast of 4.28, consensus of 4.2 million. So 4.19 million, slightly lower than both the consensus and the forecast. Existing home sales, this is a big drop here, negative 4.3% versus forecast of negative 2.2, so lower than expected. CB leading index month over month, also lower than expected here, negative 0.3 versus the forecast of 0.1. Market drop. A little bit of a drop here on the SPY on that number, but still slightly positive on the day, up about 0.07%. A lot of earnings to keep an eye on today, especially as we head into Netflix earnings after market close. Las Vegas stands here now down about over 8%, despite some pretty positive numbers, beating on both earnings per share and sales expectations, but some negative analyst notes on this one after the earnings. Taiwan Semiconductor here also trading lower. They did beat on both sales and earnings per share, but they had a drop in net income and sales on a quarter-over-quarter basis. So quarterly drop, bringing TSM to the downside, guys.
Look, obviously TSM's under some pressure. Tesla back underneath VWAP, so that's looking like it's going to be okay.
Let's go.
Just a couple of things. Tesla back underneath VWAP. ARM is above VWAP, but back under 106. I've essentially only shorted ARM. On the way down, it was different at the open. That was 105. But after that, it's been off of the pre-market lows that we've been taking it. So just in 2 things right now is Tesla. If it cranks underneath 150, I'm going 149. Change is going to be the next out on Tesla. So we short that one back into VWAP.
Oh, man.
Everything is, I don't want to get away from the shorts. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, we're at day's high again for ourselves here on that short, man. I was just telling Neil, man, we took a lot of shares there on that Tesla move to the upside. So let's go right now. Nice move back in for Tesla and back into the coveted club of dollars right there. Yes, sir. Wow, Tesla. What's up with that? This is a monster move, dude. All the way down now $1.30 and change. Yo, dude, this is really starting to make that move. And oh yeah, I mean, this is exactly what trading is all about. I mean, this is why you come to play, man. This is exactly the reason, so that when your trades work out and when you put lines on charts for random reasons and VWAP comes to play, then you are here for this trade. So there it goes, man. Nice downside move. Stay, and Neil and I both talked about this. Like, you know, we wanted to get back into there. I'd felt bad getting stopped out there. This back and forth was a mistake. I talked about that. Thankfully, we didn't lose anything. But we got stopped out right here at 150.50. But then we played the bounce back up. And now it is a monster. So there goes Tesla straight to the downside. It has awoken, but it's not liking what it sees as Tesla back down to 149 right now. We have about 25% left, and trust me when I tell you, damage is on the board.
Yeah, damage is definitely on the board here for some of the south side plays. NVIDIA's rolling over. By the way, UAL just lost VWAP. I'd be a little bit careful about this one. For the first time I'm pulling it up today, I know it had a good day, but that looks like you could be in a bit of a healthy pullback mode, I would say. So be careful with that. Support seems like it would be at that 48 level. We're still in ARM. ASML breaking low today. I see you guys when you put that in there. However, 2 things. One, So about that Peloton $3 break,
Yeah.
this is like how many times do I look at a level for a bottom break and then it gets down there and it was a long. So you could have gone long at 2s with a 2-cent stop and it went right back into 10. That's good risk to reward, but I'm sticking with I'm only taking the breakdown on this trade. And then there was one name that we have not gone to, and that's DJT at all today. Huge runner, good for them, congratulations and all that good stuff. It just did a monster reversal through 25. So there's your huge wick underneath 25, and now it's trying to break it out. Remember what we say about stocks that are squeezes? Squeezes need to break resistance and put shorts in trouble. That's a trap short underneath 25 into a potential breakout trade. I don't think I've ever gone long this stock. I mean, it hasn't been around very long, but actually that's not true. I haven't gone long this stock. It hasn't been around very long, but this would be the first time if it can take out 26.5. I think there's some 25s that might be trapped short. And yesterday it did a pretty monster squeeze. I don't think it's a good company or anything like that. I just think there could be a squeeze through 26.5.
I'm waiting for 149 teens to get some out. There's $1.30 in the money right now. Yeah, sure. I mean, you can flash the sticky note on them. Why not? Our top 2 trades today are the only 2 trades. Well, we have Google along, which we should not have had. My bad. Tesla and AMD shorts, and that's that. That's a wrap. So you know we're doing that. You know, there's been big trades today, and we're just going to keep on going with them. I've missed ARM the last couple of days. And I don't want to miss it again. It's up 1.5%, right? Or sorry. Down 1.5%, but up on the day, getting close to being up on the day here, because if you consider this little flush down to, I mean, 102. There was someone in the chat that was saying like 104 was some sort of a key level. I couldn't see that, but now, I mean, maybe that could be something. I don't know if you were referencing like this little wick there. That was 106. Like I didn't see a 104 area, so I don't really know where that came from. But if you're just talking about today, then yeah, that makes a lot of sense because VWAP right now is at that 104.68 level. So if there was a spot anywhere that you wanted to go long on ARM, it probably would be around here. Generally speaking, a move back up to the 200 period is something to look for on a short. I'm going to stick with my guns and look at what we wrote down. That was 110 on ARM. I don't know if we get there. I don't think we do, but we already flushed down $5. Maybe there's a chance we get back up to that level as well. Tesla does reject again, but the thing about it is we already got a lot out down here, literally at the same levels I'm trying again. So we've seen this wick, we held for the dream, but as Biggie says, it just was all a dream because we didn't get that fill down there. So it did not become a reality, and it might not become a nightmare either because we are going to be getting out if we break above 151. So this trade that we have on right now was 25, little bit of slippage, maybe let's just say 40 cents worth of trade risk into this. So well worth it so far. We're happy with our executions. AMD is still trying to go down. It needs to break this level. I do not have any bids on AMD. Let me just do the work here and I'll throw it back to Neil. I want to check on Micron because this was another one that we had sat here and talked about. It really is the epitome of, shout out to Brian Shannon as well, barcoding.
That could be a flat top break.
Yeah, this could be either way right now. So I wrote down short, but the fact that we're above VWAP and the 50-period moving average, while the NASDAQ is both below those indicators, I'm going to hold off on that one. We did not reload Tesla. I don't think we will, and we're going to wait for AMD to fall down. The only other name, as I look at Bitcoin making a huge move, it was 62.3, I think, when we opened, as Neil and I look at it. We talked about Mara off the open. I know Big Patty Ice was here listening. We said that there was a possible buy zone here in and around this 14 area, worth the shot against these bottom wicks of 14.20, 14 flat. So again, hard to get this off the open because you would have had to sit there and take 14.50. But again, 20 to 30 cents worth of risk is now paying you off 50 to the upside. Mara, nice move up that 2.6% as Bitcoin tries to battle back. So I like Mara. Now that solidifies that area even more for me. The fact that we bounced there off open when the market tanked, I like Mara 14.50. If we can get back down there, your boy's a buyer.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't take very long for it to get to that 14. I'll give you that, and it's a big level on the daily. I want to get to Zoom in 1 second, but ARM, I reloaded the 106. It's trying to hold VWAP here, so you're getting high lows. This looks exactly like Micron, But I said ARM was one I really wanted, but I'm going to short the pops into this range. If it breaks the top, we get out. I did get DJT, not TJT, Neil. DJT. Broke 26.5, so it's going squeezing, yada, yada. It just got to 27. The highs yesterday, there you go. That was a high, 28. I'm not really holding through that. Congratulations if you want to hold through $28. If it gets through 28, fair enough. But I'm not that much of a believer in this stock. So I'm long here to 26, and we'll see if it can get to $28. I'm just taking a momentum breakout long as far as I'm concerned. That Micron does look like
AMD is getting.
It already broke this flat top. I actually
Spicy.
like that on a good catalyst at 117. If it dips back in, I'm going to try to go long on Micron through back into 117. We might not get this, but yeah, I should have just put that order right away.
Yeah, we were just. That's why we were looking at Micron.
I was looking at it too.
I was just saying the long.
I just didn't throw the order. That's all. I should have just thrown the order.
Yeah, we do the work there. We don't take advantage of it, but that's okay. That's what trading is. So we'll do better. I promise you. All right. So that's what that is right now. AMD is making the move back in an attempt to do better. Let's try to do better with AMD as well. So we are going to, at this point, give ourselves a shot here with AMD, trying to short it in and around 156. Let's get to 156 first, and then use like 156 and a quarter maybe as a top. As for example, Tesla's making a move back up as well. I'm going to short a little bit here at 80 as we just got a little bit of a bounce there on. Okay, there it is. We are waiting for 156. Let's see if that comes in. There's the reload for the first time on AMD up there at 80 flat. Let's go, Adara.
This part of the show brought to you by Pandimensional. Researching and strategizing in the stock market doesn't have to be difficult. With your personalized AI investing co-pilot from Pandimensional, you can easily discover stocks and effortlessly test and execute your strategy ideas. Get quick and digestible stock market insights with Pandimensional's AI chatbot and backtest and forward test strategies with Pandimensional's AI simulator, all on a beginner-friendly platform. Try it now for free.
All right, well, we just spun another 30 cents right there. We just shorted 80s again. You just saw me do that. And then we just had a bid. Sorry, we got out at 61, not 51. 58 there. So 80 to 58, just 22 cents. But here it comes right back up to the upside again. We only got out of 1/3 of that reload. So here we go. Let's see what happens now.
Tesla's coming too.
Yeah, they're all coming through now. So again, pretty good job for Tesla for me. We're still short at 150.70. We just bounced off VWAP again. I'm not going to take that, but maybe we'll put an order down here at 149.80.
So here, two things. One, ARM broke that local high. Every single time in ARM, I was never getting flat. Like I'd take some out, but I was always trying to hold a bulk because I wanted the bigger move down. I said if there's one I want to take the shot on, it was going to be ARM, so we bloated it multiple times in there. If I was a little bit more subtle about it, then I'd probably still be up on the stock, but I said I wanted to risk on this one today. So you probably could have been more efficient and just very easily been green, but I wanted to hold for the bigger move and have this be my number one. I did get into MU on that long break, but I want to get over to Tesla very quickly. If it does the same thing, pop up, and we see a kind of curl at the 151 again, like I'm still in the last piece, but I would look for a very specific reload. It has to be a failed break. If I can see a failed break, I would go for it on Tesla. But I still think the short's not necessarily done. And speaking of which,
guys, we're doing it again.
Intel's at VWAP, so this is the first time today we're actually going to short Intel at VWAP.
Yeah, we are absolutely doing it again. We are doing it again right now. As here we go to the downside. There goes AMD. Ciao, Bella. Here we go. This is a nice move back down into the downside. This is what we're doing every day. We just took some out at 155.50 there off of a 156 flat fill. We talked about that just before we went over to Adara over there. So yeah, man, good trade there. We'll see what happens with Tesla. I'm not sure if this is going to break back above that 151. If it does, we've already talked about where our outs are on that one. But for me, it's this, and then it's also this. NVIDIA right now is at 850. So this is a danger zone here, in my opinion.
It just went back underneath, though.
Yeah, no. So that's why I'm shorting. I chose, I chose violence today, so that's good. But I also chose AMD. So I'll watch this. I am going to get stopped out here. AMD's been a really, really profitable name for me over the last couple days, as we've demonstrated. let's see if we can't make it happen again here today. So I'm just going to stick with this. Although NVIDIA, I think, is my top stock on the week. So maybe I should look at this one. But right now, we'll just rock with AMD because if NVIDIA breaks, so does AMD. So it's kind of like each of the same here. We'll wait for this one to hopefully fall back in. The stock that's got me the most juiced up right now is Tesla because it's starting to go to the upside. So we'll have to watch out for this one. Here comes AMD. Nice push down. We just got another push into the day's low potential, not day's low, sorry, this range low of 155.20. So think about putting a bid there, 155.20 or so.
Yeah, NVIDIA, I just missed the curl on NVIDIA. It was above, as you said, it was above 850. I waited for it. I wanted a false break. I waited for it to get above and then offered underneath, right underneath 850, like 849.88 is the price that I'm sitting at. I came down to like 49 change as well. I didn't get that fill. It's now back at 49 even. So I do want this short. If it does make another pop, we're going to try and take it. If we're making a curl here, I already got Intel. Don't necessarily want to add 4 names to the list, otherwise I might have gone over to SMCI. I know BPTH is moving, there's a lot of things going around, flying around, all that good stuff, but while we're looking at NVIDIA 850, you gotta have some focus on that. And Tesla's right back at that 151 as well. Remember, if 151 goes on Tesla, I'm out of that 100%. Oh, DJT. I am on the offer, and I don't want to miss DJT at 28. It's starting to slow down here on DJT. I don't really have anything to call it except for DJT. But if it goes through 28, I'm 100%.
Cruising.
You know what? Forget that. I was about to say I'm going to put a trailing stop. No. I'm just going to get out at 28 because I don't believe in this stock. I just don't. So I was going to be like, let's let it ride. But like the second I saw like someone starting to offer like actually any size, which they're doing at yesterday's high, it's like just jump out of the stock. Forget about it. We'll ring the register on it. I've never taken a long, but that's a wipeout bottom through 25, trapping shorts into a double top for a breakout. I like that setup in the general sense for any kind of a squeeze name because you got people that love the shorts. I'm probably one of them. And if you were short 25, you're stopped out. If you're holding it, you're stopped out. All that good stuff. I'm in Intel, and I just heard something on Intel.
We're in AMD, and it doesn't matter what we hear because AMD is going to the downside right now. There's another dollar for you right here. You know, we just have 2 names today. I mean, we should have probably stuck into Google. I mean, that's whatever. It went all the way down. Now it's starting to pop up. But again, as you guys can see here, man, I mean, you know, big shout out, you know, to lots of people behind us. Big shout out to the one, the man, the myth, the legend himself. It's Obi. Shout out to Obi behind us. Shout out to Max behind us as well. You know, lots of big stuff. Josh, my guy. So lots of stuff behind us. Big stuff today. Big names, big trades. So congratulations to everybody right there. We won't do the leaderboard. I'll just start to shout out people's names because you know that's what we're all about is just congratulating people and you know getting into your own possible grind. And we're grinding right now with NVIDIA. We have a short now. So we are short at 849.32s. So, okay. We want to give it to that 852. So this is a play that we've been in a couple times here. There's 852. That's the high. Now that I see this, I guess I got to go to 853. I mean, that wick was 852 there. I kind of didn't see all that action.
The open wick on the imbalance area was 852.
Yeah, that's the
level I like because
that's where I set it. So we'll see here. We are short right now, NVIDIA. If you want 50 cents, congratulations. You could take it. I'm going to wait for the dollar. We're a little bit lower right now. Let's get going on NVIDIA, man. As the net keeps going to the north side here, let's go. Just get down one more. There. Oh, did we get that fill? No, we did not. We were right there at 848.50. We saw it flash, but did not get it. So we'll have to go over to Adair and see what's up.
Not reacting too much here yet, but keep an eye on Intel just coming out here saying that they completed the assembly of some commercial high numerical aperture ultralight lithography scanners. So basically just a business update here at their R&D site. Also saying, though, that ASML is working to calibrate to prepare for Intel's future process roadmap. So again, not super reactive here, but some interesting lithography-related catalyst for INTC.
Or AMD. I was just telling Patty Ice there. You see, that's the kind of trade that, honestly, if you're going to sit here on, I'm not trying to take anybody's job, shout out to Wayne and everybody, but if you're sitting here at 850, you know, on NVIDIA, the risk to reward right now, we are now $2 in the money, and we just put this on a minute and a half ago. So the risk to reward here on that kind of a trade is good if you're trading small account, because you can basically take $1 or so worth of risk. Take that fill that I took. That wick high right there is 850.50. So that's $1, and we just made $1. Now it just went two and bit. I'm trying to wait for more down here. We're already turning this market upside down. We've got AMD right now all the way. Well, I didn't even notice how low this one is. This is another one. We just put another $1 in the money there on AMD. Let's go to the downside right there. So if you thought we were stopping, you're going to be wrong, because as long as I'm sitting in the seat, we're going to try to provide for you entertainment, hopefully, and hopefully some banger trades. So, and some education. Which is what sparked this whole thing in the first place. So, all right, no one's responding to my coffee, so do you want one? I'm going to go get one.
It's getting a little bit later. If I don't have one by 10:30, I never do. I'll appreciate that if you do. Yeah, I need a reload, man. It was a late night last night. But we talked about 850 on a failed break. I think the thing with NVIDIA is when it's that strong, I am going to much prefer shorting it after it's run the stop, because you have some people that are long at 850. It's a similar principle to what we were talking about with DJT. If you've got people trapped in the other direction, it's just a little bit better, because then you have some scared shares in the other way. I think it's a stair step to the upside, and if I look at support and resistance, this is about the 845, 846 even range. So as I did not get any fills at like that 51, you didn't get any money fills in there, I'm going to take the tighter trade. I do still have ARM and Intel on to the south side, so I'm going to take the money and run, and if it holds the upward channel, I think I'm good. Just to go back over to ARM, ARM came right in, did another dipsy-do off the pre-market highs. I've been essentially just willing to get out of it, but then jumping back in on every available curl, holding for a scalp trade, and then looking for the continuation trade. And until it takes, I don't want to get away from that unless it's taking out this level here, like that pre-market high and yesterday's top. If it breaks that level, then I'll back off to the 112 and 113 that I was yapping about in the pre-market. I think that's when I'm worried about those names. But so far, you've really just had to, I feel like the market made a nice little bounce there. And if you favored the shorts, you just had to be patient and look for them. But just like everything else, resistance turning into support, or support turning into resistance on the NASDAQ. You're seeing it with a couple of names here in the chip space. So there was that news with Intel, but I'm in Intel, and it was at VWAP, and it's still at VWAP. So all I did is tighten my stop up when I heard that news, but I haven't changed anything. Didn't add to the position, didn't take anything off. I just went with a tighter stop. You guys let me know when we're ready to go for the small cap recap. Heads up. Yep, let's go to Adara. Haven't done them, but small cap recap.
Lots of small cap movers today. Right now, the IWM running into some previous resistance that we saw earlier in the pre-market around that 194.40 area. So a bit of a double top forming right now in the Russell 2000, currently up about 0.7%. As well, we have a lot of runners, just some of them here today. One of them is 23andMe, ME. This one reporting through a filing, an amended 13D filing that the CEO of 23andMe is considering taking the company private. So nice move up here for ME. We also have here Vertex Energy, VTNR. This one has a short float of about 19% and also provided a positive production update here for first quarter 2024. So Vertex, VTNR also on watch. Last but not least, Biopath Holdings here, BPTH, up about 90% right now, announcing some positive trial data, and they also do have a short float of about 9%. So keep an eye on BPTH. Pretty small float as well, around 2 million shares.
Thank you very much, sir. There, that BPTH, good little runner. I know a lot of people are interested in it. Okay, fine. Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't say it had no chance to go to $30. I just said I was getting out at 28 on DJT. So, hey, you know what? If you got it, great. I love that setup. Again, this is the reversal. Is the exact opposite. It's not the opposite. It's just the opposite direction of what happened in NVIDIA at 850. Like you trap some people the other direction, and then you just go squeeze into the upside. So DJT, it's at 29 bucks. Maybe it hunts for this level up here. That's 29.75. If you haven't taken profits, good for you. I think it was just a clean setup. We always talk about trading setups, and I love ones that are easy to explain. It's really easy to explain when $25 goes down and people want to short it because that's a flat bottom, not a flat bottom break, but it's a support level break. It's a good looking short. It comes back to VWAP. People probably like reloading in there. You have an open range high that sits around 26.5. It wicks once. So now you have a double top at that level and a higher low into a breakout. Like that's, I know it's long-winded, but that's pretty simple structure for a trade. First out at the even, that's at a 1-to-1, and then the second out's at next resistance at 28. And the good thing about a strategy that's definable like that is at least it's easy to forward and back test. Because whether you took it or not, you can see whether it worked. And yeah, now it's going even crazier. Yeah, this is one of these things, by the way. I don't necessarily know the valuation's going to work out for them, but maybe it does. To each their own. Still in ARM off that 107. It's now about $1 back in the money. I want this breaking VWAP and all the way at the low of the day before I'm taking it out. And just to go back over to Tesla, it does not end up breaking that 151, which I'm a fan of 151. Every now and then, but you just had that wick in there. Had we not been trading other things or looking in other places, I might have reloaded Tesla there at the 151. Last time we were able to get some out in front of 50 and then out in front of 149 even. We're still holding the last fill. I think we'll look for the low of the day on Tesla. Yeah, we haven't really looked at the other big cap tech names. Like Google, Alphabet, high a day. And looking like it wants to break out. Oh, thank you so much. Amazon, why is it? Oh, there we go. Amazon close to the highs. Again, holding other highs. I know we're trading the chip names because they're moving the best. Let's be real. But yeah, Amazon strong. Google strong. I'm going to guess Meta's probably still a monster. Yeah. Meta stronger. Meta is up 2.5% and just cold chilling up there.
Yeah. I mean, Meta's had...
Maybe
I got to reconnect.
The TikTok thing as well, right?
I was just, oh yeah, that's right. They have the TikTok tailwinds. Okay, so right now we are $3 in the money. So it is a Dollar Club member here, of course. As both, I have two stocks. The only two stocks we have. Well, we have Tesla. What's up with that? What's up with that? Tesla. Oh no.
It rejected 51 and came back.
Okay, I'm just gonna put a bid there because. That's
yeah, it held 50 pretty nice.
Getting out right there, so I'll put a bid out right there right now because we are very, very close to breaking that level one more time. I'm not excited about this short anymore. It's holding out here way too high for way too long. So I'm debating, I'm also debating getting out of this one as well. But I think NVIDIA does have, Neil's discussed this, I've discussed this. I just think that if you're going to go for a big win today, and today's another one of those days we've already sort of talked about the success that we've had, but it's all pretty much just come from AMD. I mean, I'm just going to tell you like it is. We're down on Google. Like what we're down on Google, hopefully we can make back up in this NVIDIA trade. But this was unfortunate because we really liked that 155.50. The problem is it wasn't, and we talked, and actually Neil mentioned this yesterday, the time has to be right for levels to hit. And I mean, the market was still unsettled. Now you're starting to go back up to the upside, but we started buying basically like in here. And then we had that drop in the NASDAQ and then the bounce up. So the better trade is to probably break this long and play the momentum that way as I just, how long am I going to hold this coffee here before I actually
drink the coffee while it's hot?
Yeah, I know.
It's the same analogy it's the same analogy as taking the trade at the right time. Drink your coffee when it's hot.
Yeah, well, I just got out of
Eat your fritter when it's fresh out of the oven, or well, I guess I never do because you buy it at Tim Hortons, so you never get.
Yeah, you're never getting anything fresh from Tim Hortons. Shout out to Tim Hortons, by the way.
Oh, Apple.
I mean, if Tim Hortons wants to sponsor.
Google just broke 156 to the upside. Tesla just came out. I said I'm not reloading at 151. I'm not reversing either. So it's back through the 151 level. We're now just holding on to ARM, everybody. ARM still kind of working, but I've been. If I was more aggressively scalping this, I'd be up on ARM easily, but I'm not because I'm not really trying to scalp it. Like I'll take some out, but then I'm holding everything for a break and flush off VWAP. And I also, if it gets back under VWAP, I want to be shorting under VWAP. I just want to wait for this to get a lot weaker. So Tesla's not going to do it in terms of being weak. Clearly Meta, if you want the long here, I'm not a big fan of punching highs when I'm still, like the market's up 0.04%. Sorry, check that. The NASDAQ's still red. It's down 0.04%. So I don't want to be punching highs if the short thesis doesn't look like it's completely over. DJT still going. I know I got out of it. Yeah, I suck. Yada yada, all that good stuff. NVIDIA, I was still on the offer for the 850s. It still looks pretty good for the short. So I feel like if this gets up there and does the same move, like fail a break of 850 and come back in, I'd probably still take it again. But let's be patient. It's 10:30. This is the time of day to be patient. I want to go back over to Coinbase, which is now giving up, hey, 225. Surprising that it gets to here, tries to break out, and is now coming back underneath. But I actually don't know where BTC is at. Not at 64, but I guess it must have wicked 64,000.
Seems like it. It's pretty high up there.
Yeah, this might be, if you can get into 225, a decent opportunity to short Coinbase.
Coinbase, you say, huh? Okay. Just looking at some of these positions that we currently have right now. I mean, I think Coinbase is probably a jam. We could look at that. This went $4 in the money again. We just might not get that greedy and possibly take out this 50 period and just get out there because we keep on bouncing off 845 a couple times. And honestly, we're short at 850. You know, greed is good lots of the time in the stock market, but like when the market is not giving you a reason to hold on to something, then maybe there's no reason to hold on to something. So let's just get this out here. Again, like 844.50, 845, I think is a good trade for us. And then we'll just regroup after that. So 845.55, something like that. Let's put a bid, see if we can grab that. But for now, let's go back over to the news desk with A.
This interesting graphic here from Van Eck ahead of the Bitcoin halving. So this kind of looks at all of the gains made 30 days after the Bitcoin prices, 30 days after the halving compared to the prices 34 days or 30 days before the halving. So average here is about a gain of about 427.4%. after the halving. So we'll have to see. There were some analyst notes yesterday saying that perhaps this gain after the halving could be a little bit less intense given the rally in Bitcoin heading into the halving. But just an interesting graphic from Van Eck showing that generally there is a rally post-halving. Bitcoin itself right now pushing to the upside just shy of that $64,000 level, trying to make up for pretty much all the losses we saw yesterday when we very briefly dropped below 60,000. Here as well, some of these other cryptocurrencies really strong across the, or crypto-related names really strong across the board. Bitcoin, 63.7. Ethereum, almost at 31 here, up about 3.7%. BNB up 5%. Solana up 7.25%. Dogecoin up 2.25%. Cardano up 4.5%. And we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. You can sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders. All you have to do is use the code TTV, capital letters, and you can use the link in the description to go to checkout.
Okay.
NVDA, Neil.
Yeah, NVDA is not really doing too much here, man. I mean, I wish I had a better story to tell you guys, but it just came back up to 850, and anybody can now get the same position that I have. So, well, not really. We're still in the money at $1.20, but that was a nice pop-up. So, I don't know. I'm not going to reshort it. My order's now set. You know, we'll try to make that $4. We could have taken it already a couple times. You know, we just got Nat Gas come out there. We could, actually, I don't even have the number, but hold on a second. UNG, let's just have a quick look at this one. 1450. I mean, this name continues to be an absolute nightmare. So do not get into UNG at any time soon. You know, like we just split from $5 all the way to 20. So we went 4 to 1, and now you're back down to 15 again. So it's like, it's really, really getting like, again, taken out here. So just be careful with everything. Like that's always the suggestion around here is make sure that, you know, when you are trading, you're trading responsibly and you have stop orders and you know what you're getting into, because UNG, although we could be like, oh, it's looking like it's at a bottom right here. I mean, we've already split that. So just be careful with UNG and be careful with your chip names as well, because you are starting to get to the upside. The one trade that we definitely missed was that breakout there at 117. We actually talked about it when it was barcoding. That would have been a great trade to take, but then it only went to the 200 period and it got slammed again. So just like Onyx, slam goes Micron right there. So we got to let the boys be boys, and the chip names are definitely rocking one more time here today. PL number 1 on the floor is NVIDIA. Floor.
Wow, look at DJT. This stock is going to probably break some hearts. I think.
Donald J.
Yeah, apparently there was no, and thank you for the super chat. It's gone now, but I guess there it is. Papa Powell, hey, great. First of all, great name. Trump said he apparently has no plans to sell his shares.
Right.
Okay. I mean, when? I would be skeptical because obviously you're going to sell at some point. But yeah, it actually has dropped a couple of dollars off the $31 breakout, sorry, $31 level, but it's still above, there we go. It's still above that local, call it this local high break. So unless it's breaking back underneath 28, it's still got some momentum to it. That's all I will say. Underneath 28, it probably could run out of some steam is what I should say. NVIDIA just jumping back over to that one. It hasn't really given you that 850 break or fail break just yet. There is a move happening in IBIT right now temporarily. I don't have my BTC quotes, but we have IBIT anyway, so it's fine. It's cresting at that top, and it's underneath 64,000. So it looks like 64,000 is proving to be a wall. I'm going to look for maybe like some kind of false breakout that can't really hold the 64,000. And if it comes back in, possibly try to short that. But the market is starting to screen back up. The NASDAQ actually has now gone green. So I'm not at reload spots for shorts. I don't have anything I like for any longs right now. Like if Amazon could bust through or give me VWAP, that's a maybe, but it's doing nothing in here that suggests I want to get in. Let's go to Adara.
Be aware of Primerica here, PRI. Not a lot of volume on this move, but it just up about $9 in the last two candles on this short report from the bear cave. So keep an eye on PRI falling to the downside a little bit here.
PRI, you say? Okay. All right, so we will watch out because NVIDIA is gone. There it goes. Actually, hold on a second. 852 just broke. The market is starting to go back up to the upside right there. So there goes NVIDIA. Huge move back up to the upside again. I don't know what. I mean, was that just a little bit of a flush out right there? We'll try a little bit of a short here at 90 again, looking to see if we can get a better price to the upside there on NVIDIA because it might have just, I don't know, we'll get a little bit more if we can, but it does look like we are starting to move a little bit here with NVIDIA as it comes back down now off that 852. We did get stopped out. It wicked a little bit higher there. We didn't get as many shares back short, obviously, as we want to, but there goes NVIDIA, nicely done to the upside. Still want to try to cook with AMD if that gets there, but NVIDIA with a little bit of a pullback there. We'll see. We'll take a little bit more at 850. Remember what we said about how like we don't want to get too caught up in all of this, but those wicks basically were the same levels there, 850, 250. Remember I said I was using 852 as the out, but it looks like now that could have been right, but here we go again. I'm going to use 850, 350. Just trying to give this one a little bit more room, but we've been wrong. I mean, it's going up now, so I just put in 550. 852, 850, 350 for the out here on NVIDIA. It's getting real spicy.
No, everything's getting really spicy. Hey, we probably should have flipped to the longs. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I had two. I gave them both up way too early, but you have your conviction one way. You have to judge it that way. If it works, you stick with it, and then the day that it doesn't, you just deal with the fact it's the cost of doing business. We're at resistance on Intel now. I had VWAP on Intel. That didn't work.
Wow.
There was news that came out, but it wouldn't matter. It would have come up anyways. Everything has. So we closed at 35.68. There was this reversal right at 935, 936 after the open at the same price. I'm going to look for an up-down fade. The only thing that's, I guess, making me feel a little bit better is ARM, which was strong earlier, is now lower highs and bouncing off VWAP as everything else is breaking out. So suddenly ARM's behaving the way I want to. That allows me to look for a reversal here if the market slows down. I don't want to reload it into a screaming market, but if it gets back up here and the market does resist overnight resistance, then that's when I can get into that or Intel setting up. Just going back over to Amazon because I did like that for the long. It's starting to break it out. It could take out 82s, maybe, maybe not, but I just don't want to be punching these highs just yet. Apparently, Rumble, some other things are flying. But I got to watch out for these chip names. That's where I'm thinking I'm going to be executing next, either in ARM or in Intel. I should check on Micron as well. Micron didn't really go off that 117. Like I had 117.20s or something like that, and then got out at 90s. I mean, it didn't. I guess technically I could still be in it. It's still actually holding the halves. It's holding VWAP, but that's a breakout for a tight stop, and it's not showing me enough strength to want the long again. So I'm not going to try this. This looks like ARM. NVIDIA and everything else is breaking out, and like ARM, it's not breaking out. So it's not relatively strong.
Oh, no. Oh, man, okay.
What's AMD doing, though?
I thought I had,
AMD
NVIDIA went to the upside.
AMD's still underneath its high.
Yeah, we're still short. We're still short there. I mean, the problem with NVIDIA is it just went to 854 there. Now it's right back in its 852, making me think about a short again on this name. But I thought what just happened there? Like, what was that short? I thought I had a short. I must have got something covered there, in and out there. That might have been a mistake. I don't know what happened. All right, so I'm still trying to get more short on NVIDIA now. 855 flat. If we can get that, great. But we do know that we are offside on it for now on NVIDIA. All right, the other thing here is Square. Square just popped in. There's no news on this at all. It just came into the 200 period moving average again, into sort of pre-market levels where we've dropped off. It is a red name on the day, so hits the scanner, red name, market up at 200 period. I'm thinking bearish, so I took the short. So we're short right now on this name, and I like it. So let's just see what happens here. This is Square. It is making a move down now finally, which is nice. So we're happy about that. But Tesla, wow, Tesla might have been the wick out as well. That's at 151.20. We could have possibly held on for a little bit of that. But let's just put some Square bids out here. We're only short 37. If we could take a dime, we'll do that. And then just on 10%, and then see if we fall back into 73. And then into these levels, the 50 period is 72.80. Lower coming, hopefully, for Square, if we're lucky enough for that one. Oh, man, the Tesla trade is right here as well. I feel like
that's a barcode.
We just mentioned that for Tesla. It's just the market's trying to go here. So I just don't know if I want to be layered into the short. I know we're bear, and I know we're fine, and we've liked it. But again, that 152-ish area for Tesla is pretty spicy. We just bounced off 150, 150. Okay, let's go over to Adara. We'll start a small short here on Tesla against that level. What's up, Adara?
Quite a few sectors showing a lot of strength so far this morning. We do have this health services area, UNH on its third day of trading higher after earnings up about 4%. So nice look for United Health and health services as a group. Producer manufacturing also really strong with the exception of AMAT. So applied materials and Lam Research a little bit lower. These ones also traded down a little bit yesterday in sympathy with ASML. So these are the two weak names of the group. Consumer services also pretty strong here. So lots of sectors to keep an eye out for in terms of strength. Finance, of course, as well to the upside as we still continue to have these finance earnings. Definitely let's talk about here, though, the technology sector, especially with tech services. Let's take a look at Meta here, up about 3% after upgrades from Canaccord Genuity, or price target increases, sorry, from Canaccord Genuity and Bernstein. But Netflix here, especially on watch, trading a little bit higher ahead of its earnings tonight.
Thank you very much, Adara. When you said you took a short and you liked it, I was like, oh, Sharif would have sung that lyric. You took a short and you liked it. I like it. I actually, in the moment, don't even remember who sings that song. But to play on that other I Kissed the Girl and I Liked It, that kind of nonsense. I'm into short as well. I just feel if you're not breaking big resistance right now and you're at it and I'm thinking bearish, then I want to give them a shot. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. You know, Intel it's not past even yesterday in the afternoon resistance. It's not through the pre-market highs. It's not through the open range high, and it did this wick. To me, that's an entry point when I see that kind of a reversal, so I'm taking the shot. And if it breaks it out, fine. We'll live with it. Was that another call already?
No.
No, okay. That was probably something in over there. Also going back over to NVIDIA, this also has not broken the resistance. I know 857 is far. The 855 level is the pre-market high in there. I want to give it a chance to maybe test that level before getting in, and taking a third chip name short is probably a little bit dicey. I think the strength, if I have to choose, it's got to be in something I liked originally. Amazon, I know it's a very similar setup, but that's strong. Alphabet, that looks pretty strong in a consolidation higher, and something that I believe was a little bit of a long as well. So it looks like it's pretty strong on everything. I just not in love with the chips. Here we go. Now, look, NVIDIA's going to run that high, and both Intel and ARM could come out if NVIDIA takes out that high. I feel like it's just going to be all of them could go at once, but you have to pick your poison. And to me, today, after after TSM, after yesterday SML, you're going to really have to convince me we're breaking out before I'm going long any of the chips. Is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same way here. I'm waiting for levels to break back and forth here, and I thought I just put a level on NVIDIA there. Okay, 860 maybe.
Oh, don't
what stock am I on right now? AMD. Okay, so AMD. Okay, we're trying it again, but you know, this is the problem. You don't want to be too like pigeonholed by just saying, oh, it's just a short, because it might be it's not a short. And, you know, you can be able to switch out of that. And we sort of been talking a lot about that today. I feel like today, and it's not just because we've just, I mean, we're nailing AMD right now, but it's not just because we've been sort of offside on this short recently. It's about market timing. And I mean, off the open, it was kind of tank city, y'all. But now we've sort of bounced, I mean, we're right back into those pre-market levels. So I don't think this is like, you know, sound the alarm on anything right now. But I do think that getting out of shares that turn out to be winners are good ideas. Like right there on AMD, like look what we're about to do now. We're about to take out that high again, 156.25, where we're going to get out of. But we just got out of a lot of this trade at the bottom there. So even if it breaks through here, we're still okay. Like even if it's falling right now, we're short at 14s. Like I'm just gonna get some more out here if we can, in and around, well there it's gonna come out. But around 156, there it goes. I was ready to take some more out there around 156. So, I mean, we're not gonna keep on getting into these things, but one more shot as we get to these pre-market levels. Here's Tesla 152. We talked about that level as well. So we're into this name. We're short at 150, 150. I mean, all these pot shots that we're taking are going to add up to be, you know, to take hits. But let's just wait to see if we could be right on one of these moves up. We just had a spike up in the NASDAQ again, you know, reached these pre-market levels and now fading just a little bit. So we have Tesla on board there. We did get stopped out of our AMD. Google was a mistake. It's trying to barcode up here at 156. Maybe that's a long. I mean, none of us are long here, which
Look,
is,
man, like I said, like I'm
long.
not. I gave up longs too early. You know, those are fails. Like Amazon's a winning stock, but it's like a fraction of what it should be. You know, like it stunk, as far as I'm concerned. The only long that was probably at least decent was DJT, because at least I held DJT to where I wanted.
Happy
to.
with our technology
Like
department?
I didn't hold the Amazon long to where I would usually hold it to. DJT, that's a regular. Like, to me, that's a normal trade. I'm that guy who doesn't usually, you know, get that extended move. I'm going to take that trade with that stop and just be happy to take the money and run. And everyone has to trade their own style. But Amazon, you know, clearly 180. It was the only thing I put in the note was Amazon, Google. Google I didn't like as much, but they were both good. And Amazon was just that wipeout bottom. And look how perfect it is. You know, 9 times out of 10, if I'm following my own trade setup rules, I'm holding until here. I do it every single time in the morning. Like the pre-market low on a wipeout bottom gets some out in front of VWAP, and the rest at the pre-market low. So that should have been a hold. But I'm in Intel and ARM short, so let's go shorts. As Pan W is strong, I always love seeing that red 10, 10, but everything in I guess tech land. That's what I want to say. I was about to say chip land, but like everything else is strong. Pan W
Chip
has been
land
a
is
beat.
pissing me off.
No, but Pan W. I don't know if you've been watching Pan W.
I have not.
It just the other day, it double bottomed.
Oh, yeah.
Double bottomed off the
Yeah,
earnings
the daily,
low,
yeah.
and now it's right back above. So there's your 200 periods, regain the 200. So now it's holding support, regain the 200. Next step, hopefully, I can't tell the future. If I knew it was going to break 292 next,
come on.
I'd be obviously swing trading it. But I love that setup. Like it looks strong. I just recently bought after earnings. It is what it is. But let's go back into the things that we are short. We can answer and talk about anything, but I'm just 2 chip names short. So here's Intel, second level, first time loss. I'm going to get some out in front of VWAP. And if we do flush from here, Intel should see the low of the day because it's Intel. ARM probably had its bigger move yesterday. I had been scalping some out in VWAP and then looking to get the rest lower, but I just realized I'm not even at VWAP here. I'm going to do that. ARM was the weakest chip name of the bunch, unless there's some adjacent small cap that I'm not thinking about. So it might have done a lot of the damage. That said, it's not breaking out the highs. It never took out resistance, so I keep giving a shot to reload. I'll get out and then get back in when it makes a new high pretty much every single time on ARM. DJT apparently is breaking again. Yeah, I don't know where the bottom, like I don't know where the top will be on this thing because it's, like, to be honest, like it's coming from so far, like $80 all the way back in. There's a lot of room for it to go. With that being said, the last significant place of price, I guess equilibrium would have been $32.50. So if I was still in it, obviously I took it out too early, so grain of salt, the next big level is right here at 32.5, 33. So if you're in it, congratulations, but that's the last price that it really had any resistance before.
So yeah, we're trying to ring some kind of registers over here. And one of them is Tesla. So that just came back in, and we were lucky enough to get that 152 short. We talked about that. We only got out of like 30% on the way down there, hoping for more. Some of the outs are pretty good though. I mean, they're all really good actually. So 40s, 20, 29 was my best out. That's basically as low as it went. I don't know. Like, I'm just getting a little exhausted because the thing is like, I really think this is a short. I just throwing money back at this right now. It's like we hit it early and it was great, and it might be great again. You know what? Now that I look at this, no, I'm not going to convince myself to do it. I'm a changed man. The market's going up. So like to look for shorts, I don't know if that's right now. I feel like I want to give this one more shot up here. So let's give it one more, and then that's it, but only because we could take like a 50-cent risk here or something. So I think this could be worth it here on AMD just for one little pullback back down into, but then I think we want to buy like these 155s if we're lucky enough to do that, 155.50 something. So we'll try another short here on AMD, but it is pulling back against us because we don't have the short. But we do have Tesla short. That's trying to come back in a little bit. So all good on that one, and I believe a call for Miss Adara.
After a pretty significant move to the downside yesterday, the DXY trying to reclaim its move to the upside. So nice little green candle here, currently just above 106 for the US dollar. Not a lot of economic data coming today or within the next 2 days, but we did have jobless claims earlier coming in exactly the same as the prior number, 212,000. But they did come in a little bit lower than the expectation of 215,000. Jobless claims here interesting as well. So lower than the estimate, but higher than the previous number. We also had some comments from Fed's Williams this morning, basically saying that he thinks the rate cuts will happen at some point, but he does not see any need for them right now. Also said that they will be determined by economic activity and that hikes are not in his plans. He said that if the data would call for hikes, the Fed will hike. So kind of mixed sentiment there coming from Fed's Williams. He's not the only Fed speaker to be on the watch for today. We also have Fed's Bostic on the docket at 11, and then after close at 5:45, Fed's Collins also tentatively scheduled to speak at 12 today. So definitely keep an eye on those Fed speakers and see how that might move the DXY, guys.
I always type New York for CGC instead of NASDAQ.
Yeah, Tilray, CGC, some of these names as Sharif was.
15%.
By the way, catch these guys in 8 minutes on Bollinger Bands. Very interesting. So that's going to be something that we're going to listen to today for sure, because Bollinger Bands are very interesting, stochastic. So we'll hear all about that from.
When I was a trainee, no word of a lie.
Here we go.
When I was a trainee, I had Bollinger Bands on. I used to do a lot of trend lines. I used to do too many trend lines. My charts looked like it looked like an aerial battle in Star Wars, but if you left the lasers in, and it was ridiculous. I stopped doing that. But I used to do Bollinger Bands. I used to do all kinds of stuff, and now my charts are clean. But that being said, I think you can always learn something new, and if it works, it works. I settled in on support and resistance levels because that's what worked for me, as opposed to getting too much on the chart indicators. Just a couple of things. I'll get to CGC in a second. But I got to recap. Short, wicked this double top. This is since the open. These are pre-market levels. That's Intel since the open. It wicked that double top and came back underneath. So that's me taking my out and taking my hit. And then when it wicked under, I jump back in the trade to the local high. I'm still in ARM, and now I will get to CGC, which is 15% up and breaking 750. It is on a bit of a tear. If you're long sevens, great. It was kind of like a pivot point, support to resistance at 50s. If it can hold here, looks like they could be flying. And Raheem talked about it.
Both of you.
On the weekend, you're going to have 420, and maybe that's the reason for the rally.
Why?
I haven't back tested any of that stuff, but we're still in two chip names short, Intel and ARM. ARM is holding the lower high, so I reloaded this off a lower high. I like the fact that I'm getting at least lower highs on ARM. The only chip names I see making lower highs are this, ARM, and Micron. Those are the two that have been putting in lower highs and not kind of like the same highs or higher highs in there.
Yeah, we were pretty lucky there because, well, we were unlucky. Okay, we were lucky on one, unlucky on the other. Tesla, we were bidding right down here, honestly, 35. It stopped at 37. The 35 level is and was the 200 period moving average, and it still is. So that's a little bit of bad luck because we were literally sitting there, didn't fill us, and it was 2 cents away from us, and now it's 50 cents higher than that right now. So we'll put a bid in the 40s, get a little bit ahead of that. I don't have a problem telling people where our bids are and offers are. I mean, these stocks are moving around. Even if you're sitting here, even with 1,000, I mean, 1,000 shares might be a lot because as you're looking here, it's not a lot for a position, but it might be a lot to sit here with an order because as you can see, and we'll just do a little bit of education. First of all, if this breaks 152, I just got to make sure my stop is in, which it's not. So, yeah, good thing. You see, we talked about this the other day. I'll go to 11s. We talked about this, about how if you don't have stop orders in, like instantly my mind goes there. Like, why am I even talking about this without a stop order? But like, see, there's an order. So that's 10,000 shares right there. So that's like a monster. I was going to say we don't see any size here ever.
And then it's there.
And then it's there. So every single order that you see on the book here is 100 shares. So it's denominations of 100. So they're round lots. That's also what will be up here with the level 1. Those will be the nearest round lot fill that you can get. So sometimes you'll see the spreads tighten up. That's because there's either dark pools or something like that in there. So that's what that means. And we're looking for bigger size to play off of. 10,000 shares. This has done 40 million shares. So 10,000 is, as many say, a nothing burger, and you just saw it just rip right through that. And then down here at O's is generally where you get size, and it's whipping around here. It's gonna be hard to see as I have it different color coded, but not that much size there. There was, oh, now we're right there right now. Anyways, as it comes up, I think there was 30,000 there at end of the day. So, but that's not going to matter. We're short Tesla, and then the other stock that I wanted to get at before we go away from you was the stock that I thought we did good on, and that was AMD. We reshorted that at 30s, or what do we have, 24s, and then we got 2 fills at O's. So now we'll wait for lower. We missed the Tesla fill, but we did get the AMD fill. So let's see what happens here. Tesla looks like it wants to break, and here it goes. Tesla, again, we were right early, wrong late. 0 for 2 on the 2 latest shorts, considering this is going to break through 152. Remember I put it at 152.11? So I don't know. It's having a problem here, but I think it's probably going to break higher. There's a little bit of a pullback from 152, but that's not the pullback you want. Normally on a fail, you want someone like Aunt Kathy who's only buying, so she won't do this, but someone that will come in and smack that lower. But for right now, no one is doing that. So
I'm exactly now flat on the day, pretty much exactly. I'm up on NVIDIA, what I'm down on Intel. I'm up on DJT, what I'm down on, I guess, Micron, Tesla, and Rivian combined. And then Amazon washes out the fees, basically. And the crazy thing about that is like all the original, like if you just, everything at 9:30.
Yeah, all the easy trades.
Just like all the easy trades, and you're just done with it at like 10 o'clock. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. I mean, you're going to stick to your plan. But actually, that would have been good. That said, I'm going to stick to the plan. I'm not really changing anything here. And I don't think you necessarily should, because if it's been working all week, sometimes you get to the end of the week and then the patterns change. And I've said this, like if a key level is holding, and I started as a penny stock trader, like if I saw an axe at 25 cents on a stock, I was just trading off that level every single day. And the last day that it didn't hold, I was going to lose. And I didn't care, because you make money and until the well runs dry. ARM is the last man standing, well, stock standing. Come on, Neil. You have yesterday's low at 107. At the open, 106.80. It wicked here, 107.25, and it's not really making higher lows. So I'm not reloading this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a 10th time, or maybe I counted wrong, a 9th time. But I will hold on to some of this for VWAP or lower. So I do feel like this is the one that has not, you haven't had to fight this breaking highs yet. It's made a lower high as the market's trying to go higher.
All right, let's go. Finally, we just say that. Let's go back into the gates of hell, man. We just, honestly, man, PL1 for me, and it's not even close. As Neil said, if we just sat here and traded like one name today, AMD, we would have been infinitely more profitable. But we didn't. We traded other names. But AMD, there it is. There's the kick down. Yeah, man. I mean, this is what it's about. We're just going back to the well. The more I trade, the more I learn, honestly, about sticking with the stocks that you have the better reads on. I mean, we lost. Like, we're red on NVIDIA. Like, and it's just because we had it right first, and then I actually, again, had too many shares here at 852, but again, that's fine. Just go back over. Like, look what's just happening right now. There's that 156 short. We've already had it again. Ring the damn register on this one, because this is starting to make some, not just money, but like, you know, decent cash. So here it comes to the downside right now as AMD's pushing. Like I said, that is P&L number one right there, and it's starting to continue with this trade. So I'm happy about it. But that doesn't mean that the market's going to cooperate with us here. Let's see if it continues to make a move down. I am out of about 70% of this trade right now. That is the AMD push down.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do. Like, I look over, I don't mind on Intel, but I look back and I said to myself, I said 3 times, if I lose, if I'm shut down on a stock, I'm not going to get shut down, but if my number one losing short on any kind of a chip name should have been ARM today. And I actually said that a couple of times. And it ended up being Intel, because I like Intel to the downside. But I want to get to SMCI for a quick second, just because I think this bears watching. At a moment where NVIDIA, I'm going to go show you my black chart up here just so I can do this simultaneously. We only have 1 minute, we have seconds to go quickly. NVIDIA's wicking 855. At the same time, SMCI is wicking its pre-market high. And when I say wicking, it's barely breaking a key level and then coming right back underneath, meaning you don't have any bodies of candles on a 3-minute that are holding above, right? So that's what's happening. It shows a rejection of the top. AMD's pulling back, as Sean already mentioned. Micron, which had good news, Micron has broken VWAP and is underneath VWAP. So you are seeing some signs of a top. It wasn't, like, it's not easy to have gotten these tops, because the rebound at the open, the shorts were all great originally, but the rebound has been tricky. But you're seeing a lot of signs that you're pulling back through. Micron under VWAP, as I said, SMCI and NVIDIA both wicking tops and making some lower highs. But it is past 11 o'clock. You're going to learn a little bit about Bollinger Bands today, which takes me back to my early days of trading, where I did have Bollinger Bands for a while. And I'll admit, I probably didn't understand them or utilize them well enough, but here's your chance to learn more with the professor and Adara. We'll see you guys back at 2.
What is up, beautiful people?